we're good.
Be like, bussin' with the boys, hanging with the fellas, betting on a game. No woman's gonna tell us what to do, and I've been over here just drinking beer and making that noise. Baby, I'm hanging with the fellas, bussin' with the boys.
Bro.
Are we rolling, Mitchie?
Yeah.
All right, we're rolling right now. Let's give a round of applause for Rob Gronkowski finally making it on the bus.
Yes.
Been a long time coming, 3 years time.
We've been trying for 3 years.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to finally be on
We were
Bussin'
doing
with the Boys.
where the first time we met was at my house. You were doing about 2,000 of NAD. Just sat there and stared at the wall for 3 hours, just dying for a little bit. The next time, tight end you.
Yep.
We were putting the full court press on him, and then we almost made it happen. But then I had to go to town for something. I can't remember what it was. Must have not
We
been
tried
that important.
several times.
We've tried
this
several
is,
times.
like Gronk said, the perfect moment's going to strike, and that perfect moment is now.
Right. With
Do you know
FanDuel.
why? Because of FanDuel.
Because of FanDuel
FanDuel's
Sportsbook.
brought all the boys together.
The number one sports book in all of America.
Yeah, if you're watching right now, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. It's easy for you. It helps the boys out a lot. Bussin' with the Boys is presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. We just finished up the PGA Championship. The NBA and NHL Conference Finals are underway. The NFL schedule dropped last week, and FanDuel's here for all of it. The matchups are set. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder in the West. The Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks in the East. Who are we riding with for the rest of the postseason, boys?
I'm going to give you the Knicks. Give me the Knicks.
Look, I don't know shit about basketball, but I'm going to ride with the Knicks because I feel like they've created the most chaos on social media.
Yeah.
Taking down the Celtics.
I was actually just at I think it was game 4. It was in New York. I was there actually with FanDuel. I was up in their suite, shooting some content, making some bets in the game. And that atmosphere in New York at Madison Square Garden was absolutely electric, my man. I'm talking, I never seen a basketball game like that. The Garden in Boston is always electric, but it was like another level, in New York City. I feel like because they haven't been in the playoffs or that far in so long, and they're also facing the reigning champs, and they did win that game as well. So New York is popping, but I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm a Celtics fan, actually. Not really. I don't really have a true NBA team because I grew up in Buffalo. But I'm cheering for Oklahoma Thunder right now. I just watched Game 7 versus the Denver Nuggets.
I thought you were going Knicks the whole time.
No, I'm not going Knicks. I was just giving them credit for their
gotta give them
atmosphere in
credit.
the stadium.
And it does. It
In
feels
the
like their
stadium.
fan base is psychotic and incredible.
Psychotic,
Yeah,
man.
the last game they just played, they beat the shit out of the Celtics.
I know, I've been
like a
seeing those
118 to like
videos, bro.
84 or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I
Crazy.
mean, the
But I'm talking
Celtics,
even-
Tatum was down. Brown has like a torn MCL. The
boys
couple other
just get hurt.
guys.
They're getting football
Porzingis
injuries.
had like an illness. Yeah, football injuries.
Yeah.
They just don't know how to work through because they're not football players.
Gotta get that soft dish. Get that soft dish figured out, baby. And also Timothy Chalamet. You see that guy sitting outside the SUV?
Yeah, I
That
was going to
guy.
say the videos after the game, like outside Timothy Charlemagne, and then like there's some fake. What is that? What did
No,
I say wrong?
I think you said it nice.
Charlemagne?
Yeah, Charlotte.
Charlemagne.
That's a hard name to say.
It's a hard name to
You
say.
don't want me to try and say
yeah.
it. It'd be,
And I saw some other fans where they're throwing like trash bags at him. Who was that? Was that a Celtics fan?
That was an Indiana Pacers fan, and he was wearing the star player's name. What's Halliburton?
Sure.
Yeah, Halliburton's jersey, and they were throwing trash cans and everything at him. And
everybody just videoing it.
Dude, the Northeast
which was
sports.
wild. That's too much, man. Just because he's wearing the jersey around the city and you're attacking him. I mean, it was 1 versus like 1,000. The guy just had to walk away in shame. But I think that's too much to start throwing trash at like a random fan that's just wearing another jersey.
Can I tell you something?
Like, in the middle of the streets. That's
a
lot.
I kind of love it.
You do?
I do, because it's just like it adds
for
to
the
me,
entertainment.
For the entertainment. I don't think we should ever hurt somebody. We should never be hateful. Checkbox. But I also think like when fan bases are that nasty, you talk about like the Philadelphia Eagles, like that adds to the storyline of all the teams playing. And the last time they played, X, Y, and Z happened. Like, I think it's good for sports and the culture and everything like that.
That's a good point.
There's a place for
just
it.
as long as it doesn't lead
right,
to,
as long as we're not pulling out
aggressiveness
stabbing
and
people.
fights and people getting stabbed. But that's usually what it leads to eventually.
Right. If we can just throw a nice bag of trash at somebody and they maybe bump chests a couple times, push each other,
all right, we'll
move
take
on.
that.
Yeah, we'll take that
All right.
every day of the week.
Yeah, maybe throw a couple fists.
Yeah, if we're
Just a couple.
yeah, just a couple. Keep it classy. Since we're still in the basketball thing, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, where do you stand on that?
I'm a Caitlin Clark fan.
Are you really?
Yes,
Where do
big
you
time.
stand on that?
Yes.
Do you see this past weekend?
I see how the internet's blowing up about it and making it something like way
But
more than what
I
it
really
actually
do
is.
think that Angel Reese does not like Caitlin Clark.
Well, she probably
yeah.
doesn't. Like
She
they
definitely
have
doesn't.
probably a
Yeah.
competitive rivalry,
Right.
but everybody tries to make it about some race thing.
Storyline. Oh, yeah.
But the
right,
first
yeah,
time
yeah.
I'm a Caitlin Clark fan because I actually just hearing a lot about her when she was at Iowa. What was it? I think her second last year when she was playing in all the games. No, I think it was her last year, and I haven't seen her play yet. And then she was in the tournament, and I finally watched a game in the tournament, and she was just shooting threes up like she was Steph Curry, and she was just sinking them from like 5 feet past the 3-point line. And
But
that's
it's
when I became a
insane.
big fan, just watching her first game in the tournament, and I was just thrilled watching her, and I was in shock just how smooth she was too with all her passes, the way she dribbled and the way she shot. And then ever since then, I became a big fan of her game, and now I follow her through the WNBA, and I follow that whole beef, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and I think Caitlin Clark is on the pedestal of being top dog in the NBA and the WNBA, and Angel Reese, I feel like, is just a little bit jealous. You know,
The thing when we talk about
Because they're rivalry in
storylines,
college,
yeah,
too.
Right.
that too. It goes
But,
all
like,
the way back to then.
Caitlin Clark being as good as she is one thing. So she comes in, there's a big jump in the viewership in WNBA, but that wouldn't be sustainable if there wasn't the Angel Reeses adding to like the hate. Now we have this big rivalry going on. So next time they play, the seats were filled for that game. And I just think
It's brought
I
a
think
lot
it's
of
fucking
attention
awesome.
to the league.
Yeah.
I don't think, I agree. You need Angel Reese to have this hatred to Caitlin Clark and all these other players to keep getting that attention that the WNBA actually deserves as well. And it's working.
Right.
You know, if they were all for Caitlin Clark, oh, she's such a good player. She's so sweet to play
Stand-up
against. I'm going to
citizen.
let her shoot her 3-pointer. I'm not going to contest it. No, since she's getting elbows thrown at her,
Yeah.
people are loving that.
Yeah.
And people love physicality in sports. That's what fans love. That's why hockey's back. All the fighting with the four nations,
love
everyone
hockey.
throwing elbows at each other, the checks. That's why the NBA is kind of back in the playoffs right now because the referees are letting all that physicality, just go on. They're getting physical again in the paint and they're throwing elbows. They're playing hard and fans love to see that. And that's why football is the greatest sport. Because every play is physical.
Let's
You don't
go.
know what's
Every
going to happen.
single
You're getting
one.
dirty every single play.
I love it.
If you think you know how the games are going to roll, make sure you tap in with FanDuel because FanDuel has NBA profit boost every day of the playoffs, a profit boost token on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and to top it off, a no sweat same game parlay token for the weekend. Simply make your bet, activate your boost, and go even bigger with your winnings. Just head to FanDuel.com/Bussin to download America's #1 sportsbook and get in on the action. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Before we go any further, could we just get a quick moment of silence for my beloved Toronto Maple Leafs? Thank you very much for your time.
That was tough for me because I'm from Buffalo. I'm a big Buffalo Sabres fan. So
Yeah.
Toronto Maple Leafs was our rival,
Really?
throughout my whole childhood. Especially Ty Domi versus Rob Ray. All those fights back in the day. I loved both
after
of
it?
them, just getting after it. Yes, but I didn't really want to give that moment of silence.
Okay.
I just did it for
it's all about being
all
open
you
and
guys
honest.
being here in the
Fuck
bus.
the Toronto
I
Maple
will say
Leafs.
this: if we can be nasty about Toronto now, they're in a Game 7 in the biggest game in your franchise's history since 1967 when you actually won the cup. Disgusting display of effort. The boys did not want it yesterday. In the first period, 0-0. Then all of a sudden, I go to start putting my kids down. I pop up the YouTube TV as I'm laying on the ground as they're falling asleep, and they're just getting throttled. Bad
It
leadership,
was like 3 goals within 10 minutes.
buddy. And they just got after them over and over and over again. I mean, they killed a great penalty after the first period, and then Wall? He was a goalie, correct? He became a sieve in those last 2 periods, and it was just tough, dude. Tough.
Well, I know history repeats itself, and I think the Toronto Maple Leafs have folded in basically every Game 7 in the last 5-6 years, right, in the playoffs. So I actually did my first NHL bet on FanDuel Sportsbook last night. I bet $200 on the Florida Panthers just beating the Toronto Maple Leafs straight up, and I won. Let me pull it up, man. I'm telling you, it's my
Pull it
first
up,
bet I've
pull it up,
ever made.
And I'll pull up my
Taylor,
in the NHL
put,
world.
Taylor put $5,000 on
Yes.
the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and, that must have not worked.
No,
so
it didn't
well.
hit. It didn't hit.
Yeah,
if
it
you're
didn't
wondering.
hit.
Because
Yeah,
your
yeah.
bet won.
Yeah, mine hit, and I bet the
one.
Florida Pan. Yeah. So I kind of wish you won now, and then we could have
Well, it's like funny
won
you
more
mentioned
money.
winning your bet. Taylor bet a lot more and got his ass
Hold
beat.
on, let me go.
I love how Gronk's
It was
bet
actually my
200
first
too.
bet in the state of Tennessee too, which is really cool. All right, right here, Tennessee settled. Look at that, Florida Panthers. Total wager $200, won $340.
I love that.
Yeah, look at that.
You don't got to show me.
I just
You can
kind
show
of
the
wanted
screen.
to.
You can
Just
show the
wanted to
screen
show
if
it
you
off.
want
Check
to.
it out.
Yeah. I did see that. I saw that on Twitter last night, and I'm just thinking to myself,
So if you guys need
God
some
damn
tips.
it.
Well, I was just watching. I was doing the
Yeah.
same thing. I was
Scotty
Scotty.
1,000% right now.
My last 4 bets with the Toronto Maple Leafs have gotten murdered, and I had Toronto a futures bet on them winning the Eastern Conference Finals, and obviously that's not going to come together anymore. That's now dead.
Biz has been such a voice for the Leafs, and then you've obviously been riding with the Leafs too. So knowing that they were in a Game 7 when I was just watching it last night, just as like a non-hockey guy just watching as a fan
For
of
the
a
love of the game.
7. For the love of the game, we
Yeah.
got a Game 7 going on. It did seem like Florida was just playing at a different speed, just bullying the Maple Leafs.
I had Clump on the phone with a bunch of people from FanDuel setting up something. When they won this game, I was going to go to a game in Toronto,
yeah.
check it out, get the environment, see what that's all about. Sure enough, man,
Well,
they shit the bed. And everyone told me Toronto is like the Dallas Cowboys of hockey. Like they're like the biggest, most well-known franchise. They sell the most jerseys. They make the most money, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, that's great. I'll get behind them. It'll be a fun fan base to play with. Little did I know, if they really are the Dallas Cowboys, they'll shit the bed in the playoffs. And that's what just happened.
Yeah.
Tough slam.
It was one too, like when it was 0-0 after the first period, I was like, I wonder if it'll work. Because you could notice that Florida was just outplaying them the whole time, even though it was 0-0.
Yeah, it was like
I'm
17
like,
to
are they
3
going to let them
shots.
hang around and the Leafs might just pull something off? But then they just started to
I
just
know.
put their face in the pillow.
And
over
Austin
and
Matthews,
over.
just Scottsdale, Arizona guy, captain.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I need an Arizona boy to run it for us. But now we got Kachuk. Kachuk for the Panthers.
I mean, my favorite player in the NHL though is the Edmonton Oilers. I'm going blank. Yeah, McDavid. I mean, I love just the way that he plays,
buddy,
how he skates around, just
he's
defenders,
incredible.
ice to ice, line to line, and just goes around everyone. I'm cheering for him. I'm hoping the Edmonton Oilers win it all. Plus, I feel like the NHL needs a Canada team to, win it. It's been so long, and I think that'll bring hockey back in a way, even though.
The 4 nations.
Yeah, even though we're beefing a little bit.
Yeah, we're beefing
in
hard
the
right
hockey
now.
world,
Yeah.
Canada's
Hockey
beefing with
world,
the U.S.
real
but
world.
I think it would be really good if Edmonton Oilers win it for the NHL.
Just for the sport, the attention, and everything.
Exactly. And
I
on
can't
top
have
of
that.
it, on top of speaking about hockey, my brother texted me this morning. He goes, you have to because I was like, I'm going on with Bussin With The Boys. And I didn't really know. I don't think he really knew that's truly, you guys are like more of a football podcast. And he goes, you have to let them know you're going to be in the hockey world soon with all your nephews. So I just want to give a shout out to all my nephews. They're up and coming in the hockey world right now. They're playing on the Buffalo Junior Sabres. They're ballers, and you'll be hearing a lot about them in the future. He's
Let's
about 8
go,
years
dude.
old
Shout
and
out to
10 years old.
nephews. Junior Buffalo
Shout out to
Sabres.
my nephews.
Ralphie didn't
Now
like
that
that.
we're
Ralphie
talking,
was not a fan of that
hockey.
clap.
I told my brother I would get it in if somehow the hockey subject gets brought up. So there you go, brother. And Jace, Grayson, keep dominating, boys. You guys are going to be lethal out there on the ice.
You play it all? You get on the skates, be in New York?
I love playing hockey, man. I grew up and played until 9th grade, and I stopped playing hockey because hockey and basketball were at the same time. And I just thought basketball was a better fit for me, and I kind of liked basketball more at that time. But hockey was my favorite sport growing up.
Yeah, I mean, you're massive.
So many damn
that's probably
stories,
the
bro.
right call with basketball.
Yeah, but think about this guy as a defenseman
well,
in hockey.
I was
And look
a
at the
left
mitts
wing.
on
I
this
was like
cat.
Chara, but left wing.
Do you know who Charo
Yeah.
is?
No.
That's your wife, number one. Number
Yeah,
two is
that's all.
Adania Charo. He was a guy that played for the Boston Bruins. He's like 6'7". He's like 6'11" on skates. He was Russian, right?
Mm-hmm.
This Russian cat who just beat the fuck out of people.
He was not from the U.S. I don't know exactly.
Yeah. He was
Like,
not from here.
what his
He wasn't from
background
here. But the guy had like 100.
Dagestan.
I think he did like 110 mile an hour slap shot because he used to do that at like the All-Star games. They would do all like the little challenges. His slap shot was insane. This
he
guy
played literally like 23 years
Yeah.
too in the NHL.
and just would
Defensive
body
man.
bag people
Probably
and
the
then
best
snipe
defensive man
corners.
of all time.
Yeah, and that could have been Gronk.
He's 6'9".
Could've been Gronk.
On
Could have been
skates,
Gronk.
6'9".
Were you nice up until you stopped playing?
Yeah, I was nice. If I get on skates now, I'm pretty sloppy because it's been so long, and you got to like be able to skate all the time in order to keep up with it. But I was nice, man. I only played up a level. I played with all my friends that were older than me. I love playing hockey. It was by far my favorite sport, and I was in Buffalo too with all the ice rinks around. It was so good. I one time scored 10 goals in a game when it was house hockey. We were down 10-1, and I ended up scoring 10 goals in a row and tied it up and made it 11-11, and then we ended up losing 12-11. That was I think Squirts.
You scored 10 goals?
10 goals. It was ridiculous. It was one of the best performances of all time. I know it was just house hockey. Yes. And then another time, there was this chick. This was travel hockey. There was this chick on the Cheektowaga team, I think it was. And this is a pretty good story. And she was vicious. She was strong. And she always came after me to try and just deck me. And it was always a joke, oh, Rob, we're playing the chick, like, don't get leveled. And she came at me, and I absolutely destroyed her. Like, I'm talking like she would go flying back like 3 feet, but she would get up, and then next shift, she would come full speed and try to deck me. One time, she hit me pretty hard. She went flying back still, though, but my helmet broke, and my face mask went flying off me. So still to this day, my friends punk me about the time the chick absolutely rocked me, and my face mask went flying off me. But then, literally 10 years later, when I got to the NFL, 8 years later, however long it was, I'm a rookie, and she DMs me on Facebook. She's like, hey, Rob, remember, I'm the girl that always attacks you in hockey. And I lost my mind. I was showing all my friends that she's writing me messages. It was just cool.
Big respect to her too.
Yeah,
like,
big respect.
even though she got decked,
she tried to slide in the DMs after.
she did.
Yeah. Oh, he made it to the league? Your arch rival. She was your Angel Reese, and and then all of a sudden you make it to the league. She's like,
yeah,
oh, we got
I
to
just
figure out
want
what's
to give her a
going on.
shout out for just having the sack to just come at me.
Yeah.
Every single
I'm sure
shift.
you were an absolute unit at this time too. Still, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was. No, back in the day when I was playing hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, fearless.
Yeah. I played. We had a much different stories. I played hockey like when I was like 8 or whatever, like mites, and it was right before checking. And house got a hat trick. We won it. The next year, Pee Wees were doing like tryouts for a travel team. And I did not know checking was like starting right as the whistle's blowing. Some guy who I believe in my head is still to this day, he was 6'7", at 8 years old, knocks me down. I got off the ice. I was done. I wanted nothing to do with it.
Really?
Wanted nothing to do with it.
Was that the last time you skate?
That was the last time. You know, they say get back on the horse. No. I went in that locker room. I took my pads off. I retired that day. Dude, I was such a pussy growing up.
Well, then what got you into football? If you couldn't handle hockey heads,
idea.
How the fuck did you get into football?
I was the kid that was like tall.
He even hated baseball. I think he got hit with the ball, and he was like,
I got hit by a pitch.
But dude, I would step when he was done.
Oh, Mom, I'm never playing.
That was me. Yes. Dude, I would step out of the batter's box and like kind of swing like this.
Oh, you were one of those
I was
kids.
one of those kids.
Oh, those were the best, dude. The kid that backs up when the pitch is coming, he backs up 3 feet and then swings. And
that was me.
3 feet.
Yeah.
That was you because they were so scared
I
of
was
the ball.
so scared.
Oh, those kids drove me crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. That was, you would have hated my guts. You would have hated my guts.
Like, when did that switch get?
Probably
like,
puberty.
hit?
Probably like my,
all right.
I got a good little hair on my sack, and I was like, you know what? This physicality thing's not bad. I like went from doing sports like from 5 to 11, 12, 13. I did my whole like X Games, like Meta Militia, Travis Pastrana, Nitro Circuits life. And then I got in a little bit of trouble. My dad's like, you got to play football. And we went and played football one state my sophomore year at nose tackle. And from then on, I was like, yo, I'm obsessed with football. I loved it. Is that the dog?
Yeah,
that
that's
Ralphie? If people are able to see Ralphie down
Ralph
here,
nuts.
we got a little French bulldog.
He's making
Ralphie.
squirrel noises in the corner over here.
He's a good boy. He's actually been on TV before. He was in a USAA commercial with me.
Oh,
so
yeah?
this guy's a superstar.
Yeah. You know who else is a superstar? Our interview, who is brought to us by Bud Light. Bud Light is always brewed with 4 simple ingredients for clean, crisp taste. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL Draft, Tight End University, the UFC, and Shane Gillis' 2025 tour. Bud Light partners include Peyton Manning, Will Compton, George Kittle, Taylor Lewan, Baker Mayfield, Emmitt Smith, Shane Gillis, Post Malone, and Dustin Poirier. Go to www.budlight.com/locator to find something near you. I don't know what the other thing is, though.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. That's it.
There
Wow,
are
dude.
some there's some French bulldog haters on this bus.
Really?
Yeah.
Who would that be?
Sniff them out.
You talking about yourself?
No, I have.
You look like
I,
a Frenchie a little
I have
bit.
a I have an English
you do.
bulldog.
You look like a
I got a
Looks like-
bulldog.
yeah, you look like one
Yeah.
of those white Frenchies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got an
Casper
English
Frenchies.
bulldog at home.
Oh, you
Waffle.
do?
Yeah.
All right, that's like a French bulldog.
Yeah.
That's the grandfather.
We're part. Yeah, we're
Bulldogs.
part of the bulldog world. Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, yeah, you do. You look
Yeah.
like more of a French.
But go ahead,
of a-
sniff 'em
of
out.
An English bulldog.
That's tough.
It's definitely Taylor.
That's
You
tough.
can't. You can't.
I can't let you
hate
guys be
Frenchies.
talking up.
I don't
you know,
hate.
Ralphie.
I don't hate Frenchies.
Yeah, you're not
I,
opposed to them.
I'm a little bit opposed to him.
Really? Oh, so it's him.
Yeah,
Sailor.
I'm
He's
one of
one.
them. So this
He's
is
one
good.
of them.
You hear the
You're
kid
not a
that said
Frenchie
that-
guy.
I'm not a Frenchie guy. I think he's got a good coat on him. He's got good broad shoulders. He's got a nice coat on. The boy looks good. Got a piece on him too. My
What
God.
about these balls that are hanging
I
back
haven't
there
seen
as
those
well?
yet. I haven't seen
Turn
those.
around, Ralphie. I mean,
But
they're right
it's-
there. His nickname's Ralph Nuts.
I'll take a peek later. I don't want to make him
He
uncomfortable
still got
right now.
those. you
But
know?
yeah, good looking dog. I just
Wow.
yeah.
That's a good boy right
This is a tough start to me in this podcast. This is
Yeah.
this is a
I
tough
kinda
start for
wanna,
me.
Walk off the bus.
now. No,
Don't do that.
I want
Not
the
yet.
Bus driver, open up the door. Ralphie and I getting off. We're going for a walk.
Yeah, I'm
We're
not.
gonna have to think about this one. We need to take a couple deep breaths.
Aren't these guys like made in the lab? Like, aren't they like not?
I know that is one thing that they say about
They
him. But
got-
I just kind of plug my ears when people start
Right.
talking.
They got a lot of
about
health
that.
issues too, right?
A lot of health issues, but this guy, he stays in top shape. But
Look at his stance.
he's pretty
right now.
healthy.
It's crazy.
But majority of them, I mean, for how healthy he is, it's still like a full-time job, just making sure that he's healthy. But you got to keep him active. If you don't keep him active, then that's when all the health problems definitely really start.
you put them on the treadmill. Get
They're
a
so
hot dog
sweet.
in front of them.
Their personalities are through the roof. They're like human beings. They're the best to be one-on-one with them. They're just so entertaining and loving.
It's awesome, man. I'm happy for you.
Thank you, man. Thank
happy
you for
for
being
you.
happy for me.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
long as you're happy for me,
I'm happy.
I
Hey, that's
respect
it, brother. That's all I can
All
do.
right. I won't
you know?
get off the bus then.
Right?
I'm
All right,
staying.
good
I'm
deal.
staying.
Dude, let's talk about growing up. So you grew up in
I
Buffalo.
don't like Taylor. He ran over to
Yeah,
the
he went
French
to go
Bulldog
dish, see
master.
Bobo.
Yeah, Bobo, the
So you grew up in Buffalo. What
IV
made
guy.
Yeah. Shout out Arte.
Arate.
Shout out Arate.
Told him I'll give him a shout out.
Yeah,
I'm a good guy like that.
You know,
He gave me an
Bobo's
IV
always
this
always
morning.
searching.
I had some, vitamins this morning, some NAD to make sure I'm clear-minded. So thank you to Arate.
Yeah. Shout out Arate. man.
Arate.
Dial it in. Dude, Buffalo. You grew up in Buffalo. How do you head to Tucson, Arizona?
All right.
Was it dirtbags?
No, it wasn't Dirtbags, but it should have been Dirtbags. Actually, I'd never been to Dirtbags before until I actually went to the NFL, and then I was old enough when I came back on a visit after my rookie year. I was 21, so I finally got to go to Dirtbags. I didn't hit any bars when I
Great
was.
save.
No, I
Couldn't.
really
You
didn't.
weren't allowed to.
I would admit it, like no big deal. I didn't hit any bars when I was at the University of Arizona. It was literally all house parties, or going to a frat party, or having our own house party, or just running around the streets, just trying to get into a bar, but not getting into the bar because I was, never of age. But so my brothers were getting recruited out of high school, and my brother Chris, who's 2 years older than me. Well, first off, my dad's in the business of selling fitness equipment. He's been in the business for 35 years now. And then he became best friends with a guy named Donnie who did the same thing as him, that was an alumni at the University of Arizona, but sold all his equipment in Arizona. So then, they go on a work trip where Life Fitness brings everyone, because they both sell Life Fitness products. And then, what is it, like a fitness convention? And then that's where they met, and they became best friends. And then when we were all just kids, so like alumni Arizona was like, bring your kids out to Arizona. I know the coaches. I'll get them, I'll try to get them a scholarship, show them the film, bring them out on a trip. Come on, we got to get it done. So I went on a trip with my brother when he was a senior, when he went to the University of Arizona. My dad was like, hey, you're up next in line. Like, come on the trip, see what it's all about to get recruited. And then University of Arizona was the very first school I basically ever seen in my life, and I fell in love with the place my sophomore year in high school. I was like, this is a college. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's 90 degrees, palm trees. We went by a pool party, and like as a sophomore year, in high school, you're like, oh my god,
Out in Arizona.
this is ridiculous.
Yeah, those
Like,
Arizona
this is
schools,
heaven.
ASU, U of A is
And then-
nuts.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's how I got to University of Arizona. I fell in love with it when I just tagged along with my brother on his recruiting trip, and then they started recruiting me from there. After my brother chose to go to the University of Maryland, then he actually transferred to the University of Arizona and played with me there for 2 years. And he was the fullback and I was the tight end, and we were on the field at the same time for a year, which was just super cool to have, and just ball out with my brother. So that's how I got there. Long story short.
Were you highly recruited coming out of high school?
Yeah, I was a 4-star. I was in the Rivals top 250. I was like the 5th tight end on the board.
Yeah, so he was up there.
Hernandez was actually number 1. that
Really?
year. Yeah, we were in the same class. He was number 1. And then there's a couple in between. I forgot who they were, but they never made it to the NFL, I don't think. But it was the whole entire recruiting process I went through. It was, enjoyable because my top 4, were Ohio State, Clemson, Syracuse, and Arizona, and everyone was just so surprised that I, chose Arizona to go all the way out west. But I just fell in love with that place from the very beginning. Loved Clemson, almost went there. That was definitely number 2. Ohio State, they were recruiting me. I kind of just took a visit there because it was the Ohio State University. I mean, I could definitely see myself fitting in there. I can see myself being a Buckeye. That's when Jim Tressel was the head coach too. The facilities were insane as well. And then Syracuse, my dad went to, but the program was just so down low at the time.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to get out of the state of New York. I didn't want to go back to, basically home where I grew up in Buffalo. So Arizona was just the right fit.
Don't you have a legendary story from your Ohio State visit?
Yes, I do.
To where you were, what was it? You were hungover?
Yes. I was super hungover. So I was a senior. I moved to Pittsburgh my senior year in high school. So it was an easy trip to go over to Ohio State when they were recruiting me. And then all my friends for Buffalo, they were all older than me. And some of them went to the Ohio State University. So I took my official visit there and I went out with my friends the night before the game. And they showed me around. We actually got in a fight, which wasn't surprising. That was my last time I basically brawled. I used to fight all the time when I was a senior in high school because I was visit my brothers at the University of Maryland. And they were just badass motherfuckers, him and his roommates. And they were just brawl every weekend, and I would show up and just join
just
the
a
brawls
fight
with
club
them.
in the University of Maryland.
Just join the brawls.
It was,
Hey, Rob, you want to go get this one in? They just taping up their hands.
We would literally walk from the bar and just try to pick a fight on the way home. Like I was running into people on purpose, and then next thing you know, it was a 5-on-5 brawl. I was getting thrown down a hill. My brother kicked the guy in the face. Next thing I know, I look up the hill, and the guy's falling down the hill that threw me down the hill. But I got in a little fight. It wasn't that big of a fight at the Ohio State. It was just a little, scuffle. And but we had a good time. And the next morning, went to the game. I think that was Ohio State versus I forgot who they were playing, but I was hurting.
Look at this guy, the guy in the bottom right.
I was hurting. All the waters that I had.
Yeah.
All the waters I had.
Did Ohio State, did any of the staff know that you had gotten a fight the night before?
No clue. No clue. It wasn't that big of a fight. It wasn't worth, being in the news either. It wasn't newsworthy.
All that water I drank
Plus,
got
it wasn't
me feeling
really
like
that much new. Like, there's no like phones back then or Twitter, which was the best time. I'm so glad none of that shit existed. Like when I was in college, like it was an era of like the camera phones were just beginning when I was in college. But like that absolutely sucks to be a superstar in college right now, and you can't like really live a college life because everyone has those camera phones. If you go out, to a house party, you're just gonna be filmed. Like that's not cool at that age. Like, that sucks. You really can't have that true college experience. And I feel like I was that last era to be able to do all the crazy shit without ever being on like a cell phone or being like reported to Twitter. Plus, I wasn't as good as I was in the NFL as I was in college. I was a good player, but it's not like people knew me like that. I could run around.
Yeah, but you chose to leave early, right?
Yeah, I left early as well.
Yeah, but you got to be pretty damn good to be able to enter your name into the draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which sucked because I didn't even play my junior year.
Really?
Yeah, which sucked. I was about to ball out, man. I was ready to go my junior year. Nick Foles was our quarterback. We had a solid team. We went 8-4 that year. My brother was the fullback as well, so it sucked. I couldn't play with my brother and my friends. With Foles, we were balling in the spring game as well. I had like 8 catches for like 100 in the spring game, and that was the first time that we even played together, Foles and I. And then I just blew out my back, bro. I had that microdiscectomy surgery where I think it was just going too ham in college, lifting, doing all the other extra activities as well.
The extracurriculars.
And then I just had a major bulging disc. And I just kept going harder and harder on it. And like the harder I went on it, the more numb it would get at that moment. And I was able to go out to practice and lift. And then like that night I wouldn't be able to move. And the next day I would just go hard on it again. And eventually I blew it out totally. Like I couldn't even feel my legs anymore when I was 19 years old. And then it sucked because I had to get the surgery. And then finally I was like, yo, my back's fucked up. And then I even went out to training camp and got open on an in route, ran so slow, but it opened up, the defense opened up and I caught the pass, turned around like 1 mile per hour. And I walked off the field. I was like, yo, I'm fucked. Like, and then we were finally like, all right, let's get an MRI. And my back was blown out. The disc was so herniated on the spinal cord. And then eventually I got the surgery and missed my junior year, which, if I could go back, that's one thing I would do is if I wish I could replay my junior year and play at the University of Arizona, but I still left early.
Yes, you must have had a good couple of first years then.
I did. What was crazy is my freshman year going in, I had 6 touchdowns, like 500 something yards. I was balling. But then going into my sophomore year, I was like, I'm ready to dominate. You know, it's kind of like the NFL. You know, you're getting your feet wet. I didn't really know the playbook that well. You know, adjusting to life, trying to, you know, do the dumb shit off the field as well. That was more important.
Burn the
to
candle
me.
at both ends is tough.
It was.
Yeah.
It was really more important to me. I'm not gonna. It was probably just as important as football was to me. Was going out and acting like an idiot. You know, rookie year in the NFL and freshman year at college. I mean, you can't blame me. 18 years old, 21 years old.
Yeah, at a place like U of A too.
And then going into my sophomore year, I'm ready to dominate. I get mono somehow, and I'm sleeping.
I can guess how you got it.
I get mono somehow.
And I had to miss the first 3 games because they said, like, oh, your spleen's blown up. You know, you got to miss. So I missed 3 games my sophomore year, true sophomore year. Came back and played like, what is it? You missed 3, what is it, 12 games in the season? Played 9 games, had like 10 touchdowns, and balled out. And then we went to the Las Vegas Bowl, which was my last game. I played at the University of Arizona, and that was the year my brother and I played together. And he had a great game. I only had like 20 yards that bowl game, but we won. It was the first bowl game that the University of Arizona even went to in 10 years, and we won it. And then that was my last game as a Wildcat. But overall, I played 16 games in college and had 16 touchdowns as an 18-year-old and 19-year-old.
That is awesome.
So I had enough film to get me, drafted in the second round.
When you had the bulging discs and you got the MRI and they're like, you can't even feel your legs, did you think at any point that your career was over?
Yeah, I sure did, actually. I went and I was lucky enough. I had an insurance policy. My dad got me an insurance policy going into my junior year because I was kind of highly rated, that I could get drafted that year in like the top 3 rounds. So I had an insurance policy, and I could have cashed out on it actually because they were saying I had spinal stenosis. What is it? Spinal.
I wouldn't know.
Spinal, what's that word? Stenosis. I'm saying stenosis. Spinal stenosis. And like my spine's curved, and there's a lot of question marks on my back. And they were like, oh, like the insurance company was like, hey, you can never play football again if you get that policy. And I was like, fuck that. I'm playing football. That was my ultimate dream. I always wanted to be in the NFL. I'll just work through this. But at some points, trying to come back, because that was my first surgery, like, I couldn't really get that pop back because you lose that pop because the spinal cord is completely shut down. Mm-hmm. And like to get that pop, to get that explosiveness back, I was training. I left early. I was training for the combine. And right before the combine, I didn't even participate in the combine because at that time I didn't even have that pop still. Like I couldn't even broad jump. Like
this dude just played high school football basically and then went to the NFL.
And then finally, boom, I got it back. And then I kind of understood the recovery process and all that. And then I was finally like, all right, I can play again. I got this. But there was a little point like, man, I might not ever be able to play again. Cause like, that you never been through that experience, So I'm glad I got over that fear and over that stage because everything worked out.
You didn't even play your junior year?
No, not one snap.
The last game of him officially like as a Wildcat, Nebraska.
Las Vegas Bowl?
No, that was the year I didn't play, brother. Was that versus you? Were you on that team?
I was a freshman.
You were a freshman, so that was the year I didn't play.
That was a Holiday Bowl, right?
The Holiday Bowl. We got smacked by you guys. You had Ndamukong Suh. At the time, he went, number 2 overall that year. But that was the year I got hurt. And if I didn't get hurt, we would have waxed your ass, brother.
But I think we
would have been in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, that was in San Diego.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And you were
33-0. I was chilling.
Yeah.
Chilling.
I was chilling.
You guys were chilling.
I was chilling because I was young.
Yeah.
You were
redshirting.
redshirting.
Swamped us.
Do what?
You were redshirting.
This was my freshman redshirt year.
Got you.
Not my redshirt year, but my second year.
Yeah, your redshirt freshman year. Yeah.
Dude, that was bad. We got whomped. I was there though. I didn't play that whole year, man. It sucked. It sucks not playing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It
just
really
stand there on the
sucks, man.
sideline.
It's fascinating.
I was standing on
Just
the sideline.
brutal.
It's fascinating to me that he got drafted in the second round and he only played 16 games in college and he had back surgery and had all these question marks about his
Didn't
back.
participate in
Even
the
going
combine.
up to the combine,
Yeah.
like in the pre-draft process.
Didn't even participate at the combine. I did the bench press, got 23.
And didn't you fall asleep in a draft interview
Yes, with the Patriots.
with Bill?
Yes.
With Bill?
Yeah, Bill told this story plenty of times. This story's been talked about plenty, but I was so tired, man, because that draft process, I think it's the stupidest process as well. Like you go from team to team. It's like you're on 15 flights in like 15 days getting interviewed by all these teams. And the Patriots were my last one. And I was exhausted. I fell asleep like the first 10 minutes I got there in the room that they put me in. They're like, hey, we'll be right back. And I fell asleep on the spot when they came back in to check on me. And then I also bombed the interview process, but like bombed it in the best way possible. Like,
How do you bomb something in the best way possible?
All right, like for example, they drew a play on the board, Billy O,
Yeah.
and then he erased it. He's like, draw the play. What you got? What does everyone have? And it was one of the hardest plays. It's still a route that I still don't even understand. OPAC. It's like the receiver goes up and down back, like a comeback, and then he takes off again, and he makes another comeback. Something way above.
Sounds like the longest progressing play of all
exactly,
time.
way
Yeah.
above my. My skill set. I don't run routes like that. I don't stop, go, stop.
Yeah.
It's too big to stop and go. And I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like, redraw the whole play. And I was like, brother, like I'm stuck. Like I like ground zero I'm at. Like, and I was like, something though, just throw me the fucking ball still. And like I was like that, like that type of interview. Like
You would just say this is above
I
my
was
head
so
right
bombed
now.
that I would just come up with an insane answer like that.
Yeah, just throw me the ball still.
Yeah,
just tap
throw me
him
the
on the
ball.
shoe.
That's all I know.
Were you ever like nervous in front of these coaches? Because to have that kind of, hey, just throw me the ball anyway, it just screams confidence.
I was never really nervous.
Because
No,
like you have
Are
Are
Bill
you standing
Belichick-
up at the whiteboard with the marker in hand, trying to think like, shit, what was the play he drew? And then
Right.
you're just like, hey,
You got a double comeback. He's just talking about
yeah,
like
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember, but
Yeah.
just throw me the ball.
It
Throw
was
me the
tough,
ball,
man.
it is what it
I
is.
was cashed out though. It was like my 15th visit in like the last 15 days. I was cashed out.
Mhm.
And
What-
yeah.
were you said you had 15 visits. Of all the visits, like which
It was
which one did go the best?
it was probably about like 8 visits or so. 15 was a little exaggerated.
That's
probably
okay.
like 8, but it's 15 including the combine.
Yeah.
Met with 15 teams there. I felt like they all went really smooth. I was on point with them all. The Cincinnati Bengals one, I really wanted to be on point because we all knew that they were going to draft a tight end first round, and then they took Jermaine Gresham. But they were interviewing me like crazy. They had the 21st pick. I felt like I smacked everything right on the money with all the questions. My interviews at the combine, I felt like I did a great job and everything. But just overall, just bombed the New England Patriots one. Like bombed it like in the worst way possible. Like I said, like I like when Billy O and Bill describe how the official visit went, or it's not the official visit, that's in high school, but how the interview visit went. But and also at the time, like there was so many players getting in trouble in the NFL. And I remember I called my brother, I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna act like a complete idiot. I feel like it gets you like more chances, because there was like 5 guys that were just arrested and they were signing big deals in the NFL.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's a good way to think about it and look at it. Yeah, use that theory, Rob. Go.
Would-
Yeah. And I did, and it worked. It worked. I think that
is
was when
fucking
Pac-Man
crazy.
Jones was getting arrested all the time.
Yeah, man, it was a
Yeah.
crazy time.
Yeah. And then he signed a big deal, and I was like, if you freaking act like a fucking insane motherfucker, you're going to get picked up. So
It's crazy.
I went
Yeah,
into
that
the interview process like that, and it worked.
That is
Because
wild.
you got to be,
Hey,
you got
that's-
to be nuts. You got to be tapped in order to play in the NFL as well.
To some
You
extent,
literally
I think
have to be,
it
to some
depends on the
extent.
position. Depends on the position.
Yes.
Like if you're a D end, a tight end, like wide receivers and corners, they have their own like cocky personalities or stereotypical cocky personalities. Quarterbacks, I feel like have to be composed, calm, confident individuals. But yeah,
A little weird too.
like the psychotic tight end. Yeah, the psychotic tight end is you made a name for the brand. You walked so the George Kittles could run because you got a whole bunch of different guys now out
He's
there
still
ripping
running,
it,
bro.
crushing. He just got
is.
paid
He's
big
rushing.
time.
again.
Yeah. What is he, 31, 32? He
He's
just got
yeah.
paid as the
Yeah.
highest tight end.
How
in
old
the
is he?
game.
He's 31
well
years old?
deserved, man.
Yeah.
At 31, getting paid like that. Well deserved. He's got a lot left.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
We're up this episode to bring you Dude Wipes. Are you fumbling the ball when it comes to getting a confident clean back in your end zone? Make the right play, call an audible, and switch from dry toilet paper to wet extra large Dude Wipes. Why? The answer is very simple. Wetter just cleans better. Dude Wipes are wet and extra large, so they clear and never smear your rear. So when you got to go number 2, be sure to bring the number 1 product in clean, Dude Wipes, the GOAT of cleaning your keister, available on Amazon and at Walmart nationwide. Dude Wipes. Best clean, pants down. Back to this episode. So when you're at the draft, first round goes by, were you like upset at all, or were you like we knew this was a possibility?
No, I was upset. It's my mom says that there's 2 times in my life that she's ever seen me upset. I forgot the second time. We got to give her a call. But, if she told me, I would remember. Like, it would be like that.
Yeah.
But and the other time was not getting drafted in the first round while I was at the draft in New York City.
Did you have all the cameras around you and everything?
Not really. It wasn't really expected for me to go in the first round. It was the first time. I like to say this. I was infamously, drafted as the first player going to New York, as the first player getting drafted at the draft in the second round. So that's how I look at it, as I started that trend. If you go to the draft, it's fine that you get drafted in the second round still.
Yeah.
I was the first player to ever have that happen to. But there was also other ones after me as well that year that got drafted in the second and third round. But I was ticked off. I felt like I deserved to go in the first. That was always a goal of mine. But after I got picked by the New England Patriots in the second round and they traded up for me, I thought that was really cool, getting traded up for. Like, it's unique and like you feel special about that situation. But once I got drafted, man, I didn't care one single bit anymore that, I wasn't a first rounder. It was a blessing. It was one of the best feelings of all time that, could ever happen to you.
Yeah.
Knowing that the expectation wasn't necessarily for you to go in the first round, what made you decide to still go to like New York and be potentially around the cameras and everything when it's a possibility that you might not go in the first round?
Well, I didn't really look at it as like, oh, I got to be a first rounder, because they actually brought in a lot of other players as well that were expected to go in the second round. So it wasn't like I was going to, feel uncomfortable there.
Got you.
So there was like 5 other players that didn't get drafted yet. And it's first year, like, hey, we want first rounders and second rounders at the draft. We want to expand it. We want to show the inside, for both rounds, not just the top 10 picks. So they expanded how many players they invited to the draft. And it was about like 25 guys there. So like 25 guys aren't going in the first round. Like that's too hard to be able to balance that, to know who's going where. So I didn't care. I thought it was cool. And being, 20 years old, you look for the spotlight then, and whenever you get an invite, you take it, at that age. Now these days you pick and choose, like, oh, I got to go do that in front of the camera. You're like, whatever,
Right.
But when you're 20 years old, you love all those moments. You're never saying no at 20 years old. So I was definitely not going to say no to that situation. And, being at the draft, that as a kid, that's all you looked forward to, watching all the players get drafted. Like, that could be me. I just got the invite. I was not going to
Guy standing up there holding the jersey, shaking Goodell's hand.
Exactly.
That's badass. Yeah,
it is.
It's awesome.
Really is.
Did you plan the celebration that you do with your family? Because it's got to be number one.
It is epic. And, it's still talked about to this day, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's just how we were, that's how we party. At the University of Arizona, we gather around, hoorah, jump up and down, get rowdy, all that good stuff. And whenever we get together as a family, it was just bringing all the energy and juice to the table. So we knew we were going to be celebrating, but not to the extent of like putting the helmets on, putting my hand down versus my brother, getting in a circle and hooing all over the place. So that was just on the spot right there,
God,
right then.
that's so awesome, dude.
It was cool. It was good, man.
You talked
It was
about
real cool.
comparing, like saying that your off the field life was just as important to you as on the field. Was that, how long did that carry into your NFL career?
I would say just a couple of years. I mean, I started realizing that football, is definitely number one in my life, and that football, needs to be number one. Like, I can't be putting football aside. I can't be putting the training aside just because I want to go out, hang out with the friends, be bussing with the boys at, at whatever college I'm visiting my buddies at, because I left college early. So after my rookie year, all my friends were still in college, so I'm visiting Miami, Ohio, which, oh my gosh, going out there.
I heard that place is crazy.
Oh, rocking, bro. I got my jersey up at Brick Street still. I mean, I'm a legend there. Yeah. I'm visiting pool parties. Look at those pictures. So I'm going ham. And at least I'm going so ham, I was getting exercise while I was going ham. I was staying in shape. I was burning at least 1,000 to 2,000 calories.
Just dancing.
The 3-4 hour period of going out. But I realized that football has to be number one, though. I mean, and football is going to sustain that, the extra activities as well. And so if I keep the football, activities and football, skills at the highest level, everything else is always going to be there. I learned that about 2-3 years into the league.
What made you come to this realization? Was it a conversation with a teammate?
just
family member
through experience of showing up to football and being deteriorated and sucking.
Yeah.
And being out of shape and wanting to puke and feeling like every single one of your muscles are gonna spasm out there on the field or pull, and like it's like miserable, and you're like, I shouldn't be out here right now, and you got to work your way through it because you got to show that you're doing the proper things, but when you hit real life, when you hit that realization on the field of it's not going well, that's when you got to tune things up and you got to change whatever you're doing. I mean, I'm sure you experienced that before, at least once or twice.
The realization that football has to be the main thing.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, everyone has.
Pretty young for me because the hearing about the stories that you have, I think in my head, like, I don't know how I would function as an athlete in college if my nightlife was just right there. I put as much into my nightlife as I did football. So I feel like it just wouldn't, I don't know. I feel like genetically it wouldn't have worked for me.
Yeah. But hearing the way you talk about it sounds like you were like practicing, and then after practice, you're like, okay, what are we going to do tonight? Yeah. And for me, like I partied a lot in college in my first couple of years in the NFL, but it was always to me, like I'd act like in my brain, I'd be like, I'm not going to go out this weekend. Then accidentally, all of a sudden it'd be 2 a.m. on a Saturday, and I'd be up at Losers or Rick's American Cafe in Ann Arbor. It seemed like you were like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to work really hard at football so I can go party and get the most out of that.
There we go. That's exactly how it went. No doubt about it. And also going out and the partying, it wasn't, throughout the week. It was only one night a week, or maybe possibly 2 nights a week during the off season. It wasn't an everyday thing. If it was an every night thing, then I would definitely never be where I am right now. So I always put that work in too. And then sometimes we're in the weight room and we would work harder. We would be pushing each other harder because we'd be like, hey, you got to look jacked tonight. You got to look good. You got to get that six-pack, extra, 20 crunches, extra minute on the plank, extra set of the bench press. So that motivated you. That got you to where you needed to get to, because then you felt like you deserved to go out that night too. So, it was always in back of the mind, but it wasn't like, a daily thing. If it was a daily thing, I've seen players go through the daily thing where they're going out, throughout the week too. And I always knew too, as a kid, even in college, I'm like, no, I ain't touching that during the week. I ain't going out during the week. I need my sleep. I need to go to classes. Obviously I need to be ready for practice. And then I always actually did it when I always knew I had basically had off the next day as well. Yeah. Sometimes in the younger generation era, you would do it with practice till the next day at like 10 a.m. or 11, and you would just fight your life through it. But majority of the time I would know I would have off the next day as well to recover, rehydrate, and all the good stuff. So I did all the stupid shit the smartest way possible.
I feel that.
Yeah.
You grinded through it even in workouts. It's like if I would be hungover, like I remember a couple times where I'd be hungover, you try to have a late night and you work out the next day. And when I felt like I was on the verge of throwing up or my body feeling the way it did, it'd be like when you're on a knee listening to your coach talk and I'm just thinking in my head, I got it. I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't continue. I can't.
That's always the second guess, because when you go out, you're like, this is going to be awesome. And then when you're peak drunk, you're like, I'm going to power through tomorrow. I'm going to absolutely crush it. And the minute you wake up the next day, you're like, I can never do that again.
Yeah.
But then it goes like, it's Monday. You're like, I'm not drinking. I'm living my life like a saint now. Tuesday comes by. You're like, just a good old boy. Wednesday, it's like, Friday is right around the corner and it is a lot of fun. Thursday's like, all right, one more weekend and then we're solid. And then all of a sudden it's Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. You're like, all right, we did it.
You just hit that timeline perfectly.
Dude, because that's what it is. You
really
always have like the Sunday scares. You're like, you've rethought your entire life and you're like, this is it. This is the day I change who I really am. And then by Friday, you're back to being the same fucking person over and over again. I can't imagine that first off season you had after your first year in the NFL. Because in college, it's like, back when you played, you have like a week off at most, right? 2 weeks if you don't make a bowl game.
Well, the best thing about it too was it was the lockout. So we weren't even allowed to have an off season that year. So I had a true 6 months of just doing whatever I wanted to do. So I was going, I bet
Bill Belichick was shitting his pants.
He really was. And that's when kind of videos were starting to surface on the internet of me. I was back at the University of Arizona with the basketball players at a pool party, just going ape shit. I was visiting my friends, like you said, in college, Miami, Ohio. I got to bring that place up again. I'm telling you, spectacular place if you're a young buck. Just the atmosphere that's presented there is just phenomenal. And just everything else. I learned what Vegas was that year as well. after my rookie year. But this is
learned-
like
I learned what Vegas was.
I never had the responsibility of going back and training, up in New England because we were locked out. We weren't allowed back there for the whole 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up though showing up and absolutely balling in training camp and having my breakout season where I scored like 21 touchdowns, including the playoffs, and like broke every record as a tight end. So I guess I can contribute it to all my dancing and all my partying because I was moving.
Staying
Though.
loose.
I'm talking, my stamina was up there. I was staying loose, just jiggling everything on my body, just every type of motion you could possibly think of, twerking to the extreme powers. I swear that's what got me through, was just nonstop movement. You do the lifting, they say you got to have that base, like,
The foundation,
the
the
foundation of like your core of being loose, flexibility and stamina of the little muscles firing. And that's what got me keep everything firing at a proper rate, was all the dancing and all the movements, throwing your friends up in the air on top of lifting as well. Mm-hmm.
Dude,
Yeah,
When
pretty
did
nuts,
you-
right? I
Yeah.
swear though, I swear. I mean, I don't really do that really. I like try to go out and like I dance for like 5 minutes and I'm like, how the fuck was I dancing for 3 hours straight? Like I can dance for 5 minutes now. I'm like, all right, like I can't dance any longer anymore.
when did you realize that your partying and your antics could become like a massive brand? Because now you have like Gronk Beach, your brother, you and your
Yeah.
brothers, you did the cruise. Like, so you have so many things that are revolved around a lot of things that used to get you in trouble.
Yes.
When did that transition happen where you're like, oh, I can actually make money doing this?
It kind of just happened naturally as well. It wasn't like I was doing it as like a scheme or a play or, to get like
Notoriety
Yeah,
from it?
notoriety from it. Not at all, man. I was just being myself, what I've been doing since, my college days and going into the NFL. Wasn't like, anything was planned ever. I was just doing me. And then it just kept blowing up sometimes. And that's why I just kept doing me, because I'm like, I'm just doing me. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just having fun, And then I really noticed a couple years into it, like, all right, like this is starting to become something, because wherever I went, people expected it. And it was cool. It was cool as shit. It was like, all right, I'm going out. It's going to be so turned up. But you have the energy when you're in the 20s as well to turn up the whole entire place, get on the bar, give everyone shots, all that good stuff. And I noticed that, it could possibly be a brand. Like, it's working, even though I'm just being myself. It's working. It's blowing up, At the same time, though, I always knew that balling on the field was what the real accelerator was what the engine was balling on the field, because you're like, this guy's absolutely fucking balling on the field, but he's going out with all the fans as well and just having a good time and going ham. And then, eventually, though, I kind of got over that kind of stigma, because it was hard, in your mid-20s, easily with the energy to keep up with it. But when I was starting to fade on the football field, that was becoming hard off the field too, because I was starting to back away from it big time, because football was, starting to get away from me, and I didn't want football to get away from me. So I knew I had to start changing my lifestyle big time. So I would start picking and choosing when I'm going out, how much I'm going out then, and all that good stuff, because I wanted, to be on top of my game for football. And now to this day, it is a brand, like a party brand. It really is. But I'm not even close to partying how I was partying back in the day. That 20-year-old me, got that brand to sustain all the way to this day. That's how ham I was going, though, back then. Yeah, and that's how much I was balling on the field. So, it's cool, like throwing Gronk Beach. I just pick and choose now. Like Gronk Beach, I'll go ham, but not like how I used to, I don't want to drink as much as I used to either. It's not good for you. It is poison, I can't work out the next day. It takes 3 days to recover. I'm really into health, now and fitness. Obviously, I've been my whole life, but I'm always in for a good time. But I'm more of the guy now, that likes to look like lay back and watch what's going on and join a little bit of the action, but not go too crazy.
Not like your young self.
Yeah,
Exactly. What were like the coaching moments like with somebody like Bill Belichick? You talk about how like the Patriot way, how strict he was, how meetings could run. Like in the early days before it becomes a brand, are there any moments you're having in the facility with Coach Belichick before it like becomes a distraction or, hey, your brand or being more than the team? Was there like a transition there? Because obviously when you become Gronk and you're the man, you guys are winning Super Bowls, it's a lot more accepted because, you know, you're the man. The Patriots are, you guys are winning football games. But in the early years when you're coming back and these videos are surfacing, is there anything happening in team meetings with Coach Bill?
Here's the thing. I always knew if I showed up and balled, I would be in good hands still. I'd be in good faith with the coaching staff. And Coach Belichick let a lot of things go if you were balling on the field. He didn't care if you were out all night and showing up. As long as you produce on that football field, he let everything go. It was fine. But the second you started dropping off, oh shit, you didn't want to be there. You didn't want to be in that meeting. You're getting called out. You're going to have a one-on-one meeting like, hey, mother, like, what the fuck are you doing? I see you out. Like, you can't even, you know, come out to practice and get open versus our undrafted free agent. Like, so he would let you know, and he would eventually let you know in front of the team too. He would call you out. So that's why, like, you always had to be on point when you enter that facility. And that's why I believe that going to that destination, you know, kept me on the grind too. Like, yeah, the nightlife and all, whatever you were doing outside of football. But the second you stepped in that building, like, you had that motivation and that grind, like, oh, fuck, like, I got to absolutely dominate because I was out. Everyone saw it. And if I don't produce on this field, oh, fuck, it's going to be a bad day for me. So that kind of got you to that level mindset, like, that you got a ball.
Did you ever have a moment with Bill where he had to check you in a one-on-one or a team meeting?
Not really. So Julian and I, we went out Memorial Day weekend to Narragansett. No, not Narragansett. Nantucket. Narragansett's in Rhode Island. We went out to Nantucket for Fogawi weekend. We got absolutely, you know, hammered. We were on a golf cart. We were in the back. Julian and I doing our thing, and the golf cart lifted up in the air, the front tires, and we landed on the ground. And it was a video that surfaced the internet, and it was classic. And I remember the next day, or 3 days later, we go to whatever OTAs, running routes, and Bill came up to us. And we were sweating all over the place. Get all that fucking shit out of your system. I saw you two idiots this weekend. You guys are fucking fools. Keep running. Get it all out of you. So we were balling, though. We were out there. But Coach always got you to that mindset. Hungover, not feeling so good. When you hit that field, that just the aura in New England, that got you to that mindset of whatever fuck is in your system, however you feel. You better not feel that way. It's gonna get you over it.
Yeah.
When you hit that field.
You talk about the aura of
right
New England.
there. Is that it? Is that the golf cart? Yeah, right there. There we are. The back of the golf cart broke. That's not good. This is like 2 months before the season.
Is it really?
Yeah, but Justin Timberlake loved it because that was the same night that we were. Right there. We were dancing to a song. This is the same night we were dancing to his song. Gotta Feel It. What is it?
Got a feeling?
Yeah, Got a Feeling.
That's that.
And we were rocking out, and then he tweeted that the same night.
That is funny.
Ladies, the Gronk get it, Playboy. So shout out to Justin Timberlake. That's when I knew, all right, I got to keep going.
Yeah.
I got to keep going. Well, you see those dance moves. Now you see why I was getting over.
You're staying loose out there.
Yeah, you're staying loose. Look at shimmying all over the place.
Look at that. What is it? The shuffle? You got something going there for sure.
Shimming.
Dude,
the Gronk shimmy.
You talk about the aura of New England. Those first couple of years, like, what was it like for you picking up the playbook, understanding everything, and knowing like what Tom wanted? Like, how demanding was Tom on you when it came to the playbook and stuff that?
Bro, that's why I didn't play like my first 8 games because I didn't really know the playbook like that. I had the skills, I had the talent, you know, but they didn't trust me. I even had some great, you know, highlights in the preseason that year. I had like 3 touchdowns, dragged Laurinaitis into the end zone. I showed some talent, like I showed some bursts. I showed like what the type of player I could be. But then like practice would come still and I would be fucking up tremendously. Like I would have 5 great plays and I would have 5 terrible plays. I'd be blocking the wrong guy. I'd be running the wrong route. And when you're at that level, no matter how good you are, if they can't trust in you doing the right thing, well, you're not going to play in New England. They don't give a fuck how good you are. They're not going to play you. Mm-hmm. And they let me know that. And the first 8 games, I only had about 15 to 20 snaps per game I was playing. And it would only be the true plays that they would trust in me. They say, hey, here's the 20 plays that you know. We trust in you with these 20 plays. We'll call you in personnel when we're going to call these plays. I do like 20 plays a game. And then all of a sudden, I'm balling though. I'm still showing that potential, you know, and they're like, we're not putting you out on that fucking field until like we can truly trust in you. Same with Tom, coaching staff, Bill. And then finally, like, I was struggling because the playbook was totally different from college. At college, I lined up on the right every single play. I had like 5 routes. We had like 5 blocking plays, run plays, and kaboom. Like, I learned the playbook in one day. I mean, you get to New England, you got a playbook like that. You got 55 different formations. I got to line up on the left. I got to line up in slot. There's 50 different calls in the run game. I'm like, 50 different calls in the run game. Arizona, we had 5 different run calls,
Yeah.
So I couldn't get up the pace. And then finally, like week 9, all of a sudden, just everything clicked. That feeling when you're like, oh, okay, I got this. I know everything in the playbook. Not everything, but like I know enough now. And then I was showing them on the practice field, like, hey, I'm consistent now. I'm balling, like I'm doing the right things. And then a play, I talked about plenty of times. There's a play versus the Chicago Bears versus Urlacher that I had to body him up. And I did it in practice on Friday, and they're like, "We're gonna call this play, and you better be ready for it." And then it was versus Urlacher. I had to, get big on him in the end zone, 1 yard into the end zone, turn on him, use my body, and then boom, there's the ball. Did it in practice, replicate it in the game versus Urlacher, box him out. Tom put the ball right there, and I caught it. And ever since then, the trust just went through the roof, and I played every single play after that. So the playbook, to you rookies out there, get in the playbook. That's the first thing. It doesn't matter how good you are if you don't know the plays. If you're thinking on the field, you're not going to play. You're not going to be the best player that you can possibly be. So get in the playbook and know those plays right from the beginning.
What was Tom Brady like through these growing pains your rookie year?
He was an asshole my rookie year. He really was. He was like Mr. Bill Belichick's son at that time. I swear he was Mr. Patriot at that time. But and he was on my ass though. But I see why though. I really see why. He saw the potential in me too. I remember one time I ran a flag route and he always wanted me to go outside of the defender. And like I didn't have the fluidity to get outside of him when he was like 2 yards outside of me and try to get open. So I always try to go right inside of him, make a little move, and try to get open the flag route, even though he's playing outside. And he's like, I'm never going to throw you the fucking ball. Actually, I'm never throwing you the ball ever again. He said that in the meeting room after I went inside on the flag route. But he told me 5 times already to get outside. At least show that I'm trying to get outside. But I'm like, it was too hard for me at that time. Like I couldn't comprehend it. The way that my body was moving, I just couldn't do it. And then after he said that, then that kind of clicked in me too. Like, oh, fuck, I got to really try to show him that I'm getting outside. And just to have a quarterback to be that hard on you at the beginning, though, as a young buck, it can definitely deteriorate you a little bit. But he saw all that potential because then right after he would say something like that, he'd be like, yo, stay after me with practice. Let's run this route 20 times. Let's get you on the same page. You have to finally click. I'm going to keep going until you click. So he was really, really hard on me. But I see why, and I respect it to the highest T, and I'm so glad that he was that hard on me as well. Because we would have never gotten to the page and the chemistry that we were at if he wasn't that hard on me. And that's what makes him probably, the greatest player of all time, because it wasn't his skill set, it wasn't his ability to do, what he does on the football field. It was also the ability to bring the best out of his teammates around him.
Winner of this episode to bring you Neutral. Have you ever tried Neutral? If not, boys, you are missing out. Neutral is so much better than any other seltzer I have ever tried. It's made with real vodka and real juice. That's what makes it delicious. Neutral comes in a variety of flavors. They got pineapple, watermelon, and my personal favorite at this very moment is strawberry. Neutral is a perfect drink when you're hanging with friends, and it is such a crowd pleaser. Summer right around the corner. We're about to hit peak grilling months. Enjoy it. Neutral. Keep it tasty. Big hugs, tiny kisses. Let's get back to this episode. With Tom, it seems like his 2 main guys throughout his career were like you and Edelman, or just like kind of like his core guys all the time. At what point did you feel like, all right, I'm really in Tom's pack? Because a guy like that, of that superstardom, dating models, marrying the models, like he seems like he's like one of the first guys in the NFL to be like above the NFL. And for you to be like in that group with him, was there like a moment where you're like, okay, I know I'm Tom's guy now?
kind of that moment, my rookie year, I felt like I got in the pack, like after that play versus Urlacher, but I wasn't truly in it yet. We had Wes Welker as well. I mean, Randy Moss, just got traded in my rookie year. So he was in that pack as well. Deion Branch got traded back. Like he was in that pack, even though he left for a little bit with the Seahawks. We had a couple other players as well that I could see that he truly trusted and that he truly looked to. And I would say I truly entered that was my second year when I blossomed. And that was my absolute goal as well. We talked about, having that lockout, but in me going ham for 6 months straight, but also in back of my mind, football was always there and I always wanted to be the greatest. And I remember calling my agent, Drew Rosenhaus. I said, I'm going to be the greatest fucking tight end this season. Watch. And he's like, oh, okay. I mean, he's like, you got Antonio Gates, you got Jason Witten. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, I'm going to be the greatest tight end this year. And like, I had that as a mindset and I'm going to be on the same page as Brady. I get what he wants now. And then going into that training camp, everything was just clicking and I entered that pack of that trust, because to get that trust from Brady and the coaching staff, you have to be a consistent fucking player. I don't care. You can show a burst of going deep and making an amazing play, but if you can do that 1 out of every 10, I mean, you're not in that pack. You're not going to have that trust. So I showed that trust going into my second year, and then that's when it just all truly started clicking, and it lasted for 10 more years straight.
How did that, was it always respect from Tom when he's hard on you in those moments like your rookie year? Or are you thinking like, yo, this dude's a fucking asshole?
I thought he was.
To where you're kind of resistant to like, hey, let's stay after practice and do 20 reps. And you're just like, fuck, man. All right.
No, I thought he was an asshole for sure at first. I'm telling you, he was Mr. Patriot my rookie year. Like he was Bill 2.0. I swear, I'm like, man, this guy's zero fun, zero fun, like zero, but I kind of understood it at the same time, not to the full extent,
But once you're in once you're in, you're growing, you're progressing, you're getting better. You're thinking, all right, this is where I need to kind of buy in.
Yes. And then once I bought in too, he loosened up as well. Like he just wanted me to buy in and get rid of all that bullshit that was going on the outside, or me not paying attention in the meetings, or me not doing what I need to do out in the football field, because he saw it in me. Like he sees potential in players. He knows players inside and out. Like he can watch film, Tom. He can break down a player's strength. He can break down their weakness. He can break down how to get open versus what you got to do. He can even break down a defensive lineman, and know their strengths and how to block a defensive lineman. He knows the game of football like that. And that's what made him so great, obviously. So he knew what I needed to do out in the football field. And when I started finally doing it, when it started clicking to me and I was starting to truly understand, that's when that relationship really blossomed. And he was less hard on me. I mean, still to this day, he's hard on his players. I mean, even once you get that relationship going, because he wants that relationship to keep building, but it wasn't like my rookie year. Rookie year was tough at some points, but I saw why, and I'm so blessed and I'm so thankful that he was like that. I needed it. Put it that way, I needed it.
How hard were they on Julian Edelman? I just listened to Bill Belichick on the Pivot, and it seems like they were extremely hard, or Coach Belichick was extremely hard on Julian when he got to New England.
Well, he was a year before me, so I didn't really see his rookie year like that.
That dog has got sleep apnea.
Ralphie's snoring. He's a good boy, though. He knows we're working.
He's a good boy.
He knows we're working.
He feels safe.
He feels safe. He's just relaxing. That's a good boy right there. So, but later on, if we keep going, he'll eventually let us know, like, hey, motherfucker humans. Hey, motherfucking humans, it's my turn. Throw me the ball. But he's a good boy. But Julian was absolute dog. And they loved getting under his skin. If you got under Julian's skin, it brought the best out of him. And I would say same with myself, and that's why they were hard on players there. Coach Belichick knew how to get into players' minds, even if it was in the most asshole way. That's why we respect it so much and we appreciate it, to this day, because he was really trying to make you the best fucking player that you could possibly be. And he was trying to bring the best out of you, and he sure did it. Even though whatever way he was doing it, it could have been vicious, it could have been like, yo, I'm about to trade you. Like he could have just been making it up. And then you would go absolutely balls, out on the practice field and in games. So he knew how to bring the best out of players, especially the ones that he knew wanted it. And Julian was a guy that wanted it, and he brought the best out of Julian and whatever techniques he was doing to get under Julian's skin.
Dude, you, I mean, obviously receiving wise, that's where you get paid. It's probably the most fun for you, but from a blocking standpoint, you see so many clips of you like throwing a chip block on Terrell Suggs and like sending him into the bleachers. That kid, the safety from the Colts on the goal line, sending him all the way to the sideline, stuff like that. Telling him no white t-shirts in the club. Where did the mindset come with the blocking? Was it always really important to you, or did you learn early like this is how you become a complete tight end?
No, it was always important to me ever since my high school days playing football. I always just took pride in the blocking game. I really did. I remember in high school, it was before like all the blindside blocks, got banned, which was a good thing. You know what I'm talking, those crack back blocks. You took more pride in high school when you absolutely leveled someone than say scoring a touchdown. I'm talking the touchdown was cool, you celebrated, but the whole sideline would go absolutely bonkers if you took someone up and just planted them on the ground, or you blindsided someone and just flat blacked them and basically put them in the hospital. So that mindset was always there to just be the biggest dog, to be the strongest dog out on the field, and to be tossing people around. Tossing people around felt like the manly thing to be in the game of football. Yeah, catching touchdowns was cool. That came with it, but that wasn't what you wanted to showcase. It was how far can you take someone and just embarrass them and just show them who the fuck is boss. So that started, in high school. I would say as a kid, though, that toughness, because I was getting beat the shit out of from my 3 older brothers and their friends at all times. And they would pick on me and I would just come right back at them. So that mindset started then. And then in high school, my senior year, I only had 8 catches my senior year in high school as a tight end. And we ran the ball 52 out of 52 plays one time. And it didn't matter because we were dominating. We won the game like 30-0. I would just take guys, drive them back 5 yards, plant them. One time in high school, picked up a guy, brought him off the sidelines 10 yards and threw him over the fence. It was kind of like the Sergio Brown play, but instead I took the guy up in the air 10 yards and threw him over the fence.
This one right here?
And just like that one. But then I took the guy and threw him over the fence in high school. And we just took so much pride in that. Like, it wasn't about catches, it wasn't about touchdowns. So that translated into college, and everyone respected it. Everyone respected me a lot more because I wasn't the guy just looking for touchdowns. I was the guy when it came to 7-on-7. What's it called when you
9-on-7?
9-on-7 run period, that I'd be showing up, and it was all about how badass can you be in the run game, and how hard can you block the DN and make a hole for your running back.
Dude, there is something about having a tight end that knows how to do like a tray block or a triple block, and knows where the right fit is, where to put his hands. It makes your life so much easier.
It's the best feeling, dude.
Yeah.
And to this day, when people show my highlights, I don't give a fuck. Like the catching highlights and touchdowns, I'm like, cool, whatever. I won't even look. I'll be like, that's cool. But when I see a blocking play of mine, I fucking rewind that thing every time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Rock hard on just watching that.
I remember Stephen Ridley. He was running back, my good friend. He beat Kevin Hart in a race like 2 years ago, and Kevin Hart blew out his hamstring. So the NFL, do you guys remember that a little bit? No, he blew out his abdominal. And then the NFL was, showed, ex-player Stephen Ridley, blows away Kevin Hart in a race. Kevin Hart blows abdominal. So then what did they do? The NFL took all of Stephen Ridley's highlights and they put them up on NFL.com or whatever, their Instagram page. And guess what? There I was blocking, and I sent it to Ridley. I said, look at that motherfucker block for you. Yeah. I'm like, I love the blocking highlights. And I'm like surprised with myself because I don't really remember, like, it was just a natural thing I would do, and I didn't really notice how important it really was. It was just part of my personality. Like, that's what I did. I blocked. But when I go back and I watch me block, like when I was in my heyday, like the first 4 years, man, I was fucking tossing motherfuckers, dude. And I didn't really realize it, that I was really doing it like that. Like, I was doing it like that. So I'll always rewind a block, and I'll always make sure that people see all the blocks when they're up on the TV screen. Catches, whatever.
With the game, were you a guy that like talk shit during a game, or you kind of just keep to yourself, and if somebody talks shit to you, you turn it up on them a little bit?
There we go. I love when people talk shit to me. It like brought me to a whole nother level, and that's what happened with the Sergio Brown.
That's what I was going to ask
the
next.
Whole entire game just yapping at me, and we're friends. Like, we were friends. Like in New England, I'm like, bro, like I'm getting open on you guys too, and we're dominating you, but just kept going and going and going. And finally, he just triggered me. And I just was like, the next blocking play I get, I'm going to just fucking keep going and going and going.
How long was that? I'm gonna get him when I get the
there
chance.
He goes. He was just chirping. He was chirping the whole time.
Yeah.
And there was Dable. You saw Dable there, head coach of the Giants now. He loved it too. There he is, right there. Dable. Oh, he was. He's chirping at you. Good shit.
All right, yeah, good shit, Gronk. Yeah, how many plays? So this guy's chirping at you, getting after you, saying whatever. How long after was that block for you? Where you're like, okay, I'm gonna take this kid to the absolute sideline.
Oh, I was going. I didn't care. I knew the play was over too. Like I saw the running back scored a touchdown. Oh shit, what's his name again? He had 3 touchdowns that game and like 250 yards.
You guys had like 50 running backs.
Yeah,
time.
no, and then we cut him like 2 weeks later because
Jonas.
Yeah, Jonas, love him though.
Yeah.
Jonas, great. I love just so many running backs. I just couldn't think of who it was.
You guys had a shit of running backs.
I saw him score right behind me too, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm still going." I was just over him. He was just talking the whole time, and I just like, I'm just gonna go until he collapses, and then boom, finally.
God, that juice is.
That right there is why I never wanted to talk shit.
Yeah.
Just to like, if you're going against a good player, I'm always like complimenting. I'm complimenting their routes.
Great hit, great this.
Yeah, I hated that.
Just,
I'm like, this guy's too nice. Like, I don't want to get
it's not all the time. It's when you have, it's when you have a lax. Just like, hey, you're playing a hell of a game out here. Just to like, you never want that trigger to go off on somebody because you just never fucking know. You ain't trying to be on a highlight.
No, I feel you. I mean, you're Gronk. How do you feel about this?
Oh man, look at that.
That's a solo.
That's you 51, correct?
Yeah,
you got me. Solo tackle. But that's a nice flat route though. Look at the speed I had back then. At that side. I wish I had that speed still though, man. Look at me come out of the back. Was that coming out of the backfield or was that just a flat route at the tight end position? Or did I, yeah. I'm flying right there. See, I out-angled you. That's how fast I was back then. That should have been, if you were playing true technique football as a linebacker, that should have been a 2-yard catch.
You're 100% right.
I just beat the zone. Beat the zone there.
I think we were a man there.
Yeah.
So it makes it even worse. Worse look for myself.
This is the worst.
But you made up,
shit.
But you made up for it. You made up. Oh, right there. Look at. Should have only been 4 yards, but Will couldn't close the gap fast. Holy shit! I'm on the same page still. And that was June 23rd, 2023. All right, so that wasn't that long ago, but still.
But he made up
for it. That was a nice tackle. He got me one-on-one.
There's a photo.
A lot of other men have failed trying to do that.
Oh, 100%. There's a photo where it's captured from Rob's angle to where it looks like he does stiff arm me. But it looks like they have a great angle to where you get like posterized for getting stiff arm.
Now I know Gronk's a guest on our show, but if you're in man coverage, are you fearful of this man? Because he wasn't the shiftiest guy in the world, and you had some speed back then. This is young Will Compton day.
He's massive,
big as fuck.
Long.
Yeah, I wasn't shifty.
He uses the stiff arm well.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, there it is. Look at that pick. Oh man,
yeah,
you still got me. You still got me though.
I see that pick and I'm like,
still got
people
me.
don't know.
You got to break that down. You got to break that down.
And I got to chop.
I
got to chop for the ball.
I was on the sideline, so I knew that you had sideline help, so I didn't really try my hardest.
Me neither.
You had sideline.
I wanted you to catch the ball because I wanted to pad my stats.
Yeah.
Was there
it worked for both of us. First down, but you got a tackle. Yeah. Solo tackle, too.
Right, pull on the film, like, Comp, you got to fix the angle here a little bit, but hey, way to get him down when he got him.
A lot of guys fail on that stiff arm.
A lot of guys fail.
Mission Impossible is the greatest franchise of all time, and it's one of those few franchises that feels like they just constantly get better. They raise the bar, they have an amazing cast, and they have incredible action scenes.
Buddy, I could not agree more. Tom Cruise is truly incredible. There's actors and actresses out there all over the world. There's only a few elite actors and actresses, but there's only one individual who does all of their stunts and has no stunt doubles, and that is the one and only Tom Cruise.
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, they have some of the most dangerous stunts that have ever been filmed in cinema. They're incomparable. Visceral action. For audiences around the world, I don't understand how they do it each time, each movie.
Buddy, the stunt Tom Cruise performed on that plane was going 170 miles an hour. And then all of a sudden, this insane stunt that was with 2 million gallons of water.
You just know at 170 mile per hour winds and massive water tanks, this movie's gonna be crazy. It's unmatched. It's gonna be untouched.
This film is a culmination of the last 30 years. Every mission has led to this.
I cannot wait to see this movie. The whole squad's going, and all we talk about is how we can't wait to see this action on the big screen.
Bro, Tom Cruise truly delivers in this movie. It makes you wonder, Will this be the final reckoning?
Catch Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning in theaters this Thursday. You do not want to miss it.
Before
I want to ask. I gotta ask. You were the same position group, same age. What was it like around Aaron Hernandez?
I was just gonna get into that. That's
Oh, really?
Like in
You
your
guys have the
mind,
same
or you're
minds.
like all the stuff that comes out about him now, like going
Yeah.
back to those moments around him. Are you kind of thinking in your head like, I'm not in his world too much, but there's some shit that this guy's into off the field that I don't necessarily even want to know.
because we heard stories about like him being in the team meeting room, like beating off and like doing crazy shit.
I mean,
And honestly, if you don't want to talk about, it, we don't have to.
possibly. That's a possibility, that one. I may or may have not seen it live.
No shit.
Yeah. I'm not
Guy,
going
you
to
plead the
conform.
fifth.
I'm not going
Yeah.
to
At the time, you're
confirm,
just thinking to yourself, "Man, this guy really loves
nor
ball."
deny. But I mean, I love crazy shit though. So like, I didn't mind things like that. I was like, wow, like that was pretty epic. Like, I was a wild man myself. So like, I was like, nothing fazed me. I was like, I encouraged it, but like, never. I mean, let me first off. Unbelievable football player, man.
Unreal.
You're talking about the playbook, me struggling with the playbook. That guy knew the plays inside and out, the run game and pass game, in like the first 2 weeks being in New England, while I struggled with it all the way until like week 8, you know? And he was balling right from the beginning. He was a basketball player out on the football field. That's what he was with his size. He could run. He was at one point he was lining up at running back and having 30+ yard runs while I was blocking.
I mean,
up the
you
tight
guys
end
could be in
position.
12 personnel and be in any type of formation.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're the best combination at the tight end position of all time, and that second year proves it. I mean, we had like what 2,300 yards combined and like 28 touchdowns between just him and I, including playoffs and regular season. That's unheard of. Like, they ain't no other tight end combo ever gonna have 1,500 yards combined, like ever
Right.
again, possibly, or maybe like 1,600 yards. So we went like 2,800 and like 28 touchdowns, which is just absurd. But there's a lot of craziness, definitely, but I didn't mind it. Like I said, I loved it. And then I didn't see, it going to the level that it went to. I didn't see that happening. Like, that was a surprise. It was a surprise to everyone because you would never expect anyone, especially being in that position, to have it go to the level that it went to.
And you're learning about this stuff when all whether it's documentary shows coming out about it, you're learning that then, and you're like, fuck, I didn't really know it was that bad.
I didn't know it was that bad. I mean, I knew that, there was definitely some wild sides to him, but with everything coming out, there's some that I would say is true in the documentaries that come out. There's some that's probably exaggerated a little bit, but there's some that's not exaggerated at all either. I'm not going to talk about like what topics it was and everything, but I mean, it was wild, man. I was the guy that was truly there throughout his whole career, like in the same room the whole entire time as him. But it's unfortunate though what happened, because the talent was just through the roof, man, through the roof. And if we could have kept our tandem going, we would have been just truly unstoppable. But that's really all I got on that.
Yeah.
Saw some of it, but you didn't know it was like to that extreme, and not surprised either. Like, it's like, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah. When you guys were at practice, he got charged when you guys were at practice, or like you guys practiced that day, correct?
No, it was an off season.
It was off
It
season.
was
Okay.
actually, it was during the summer when no one was actually at the facility.
And what, like, when you found out, were you like at first like, there's no way this is possible, or were you like, that's a tough question to ask. What was your thought process when you heard he was charged?
Well, he didn't get charged until like after the fact that it all came out, correct?
Yeah.
So like when I first, kind of like, what was the thought process when I first heard about, the situation, the real situation where it was like, all right, this is trouble. Surprised, shocked, big time, sad a little bit, like no way, like also disappointed, like why would you do that? Like why would, like, what's going on? We got the whole world in front of us. We got the world by the balls, especially, you and I as the tandem, like we got the best team out there, everything. So it was shocking, you know.
Yeah.
It was sad as well, you know, once you really realize what truly happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
How was Bill Belichick, aside from what you get to see, whether he's in press conferences, the coaching side, the Art of Winning book, like what's he like kind of off the field or away? Because I think there's a story where he showed up hammered to Randy Moss's one of his costume parties or like a Halloween party.
He
Yeah, like
showed his pirate.
what's a fun side of Bill Belichick?
All right, here's something that a lot of people really don't know is that he never really cracks jokes, you know, and he's always got that serious face in team meetings, but every once in a while, like once every 2 weeks, he would just come in with an absolute fucking banger, bro. I'm talking banger. And he would actually have a smile on his face right after. He would just drop some knowledge or some, you know, over-the-top joke that just landed every time with the team, and everyone would just be on the ground, just fucking dying laughing. It was always vicious too. The joke or whatever, the knowledge was always vicious. But when he came in with that, it always lightened the mood. It was once in a blue moon, but when he did do that, man, it was good shit. We all appreciated it.
You ever party with Bill? He ever partake in the Gronkowski dances?
Actually, he showed up to the first Gronk beach ever when I first retired. It was in Miami. It was at that Super Bowl like 5-6 years ago. And he showed up to that Gronk beach, which was really cool. But other than that, he was there for like 5 minutes. He's like, yeah, this isn't really for me.
Yeah.
We were going
But just him showing face, I bet meant a lot.
Him showing face really
Yo,
did
get
mean
the
a
shirt
lot.
off. Let's go.
Yeah.
He's great, but I think he loves the party scene more than ever right now, actually.
Yeah.
I see him at parties. I mean, he's not like he's rocking out. I mean, but he's there, you know, he's doing his thing, and, you know, he's loosened up big time ever since he left being a head coach in the NFL, which is cool to see.
Were you surprised about that, him loosening up after he became a head coach, after he left the NFL?
Definitely surprised. I thought he would keep that mantra even like going on to whatever, you know, he was going to do next after the NFL. I'm sure he probably has that mantra while coaching, you know, the Tar Heels. But like on the outside of everything else, I was definitely surprised when he started joining, you know, social media. You know, he joined the media game and he was more loose, you know, cracking more jokes, smiling more when he was making all his appearances on all the shows that he was on. But it was really good to see. Like, I was happy for him, and you know, it was a different side that everyone got to see too. But the knowledge he drops as well is always accurate too. Knows the game of football inside and out better than anyone else out there.
What's it like seeing all the headlines with the Jordan stuff, with knowing Coach Belichick as this no nonsense coach, and seeing all the like theatrics that have kind of came with on the outside looking in, like with him at North Carolina,
A guy that's all about eliminating distractions.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's a little surprising to me, because he was all about eliminating distractions, and like it's kind of, I mean, we can't really say if it's a distraction yet or not, because we'll know in the win-loss column this year. If he wins every game or puts up 8 wins this year at UNC, well, then there was no distractions at all. The distractions,
he might actually, he's a true goat.
Sometimes it fuels him. I mean, how much, you know, crazy shit did he deal with in New England, from, you know, Tom's things to Hernandez to me, you know, in some situations, to just a lot of other things that were going on. And we would just go out there and win constantly at a rate that's never been seen before, and win Super Bowls. Even though there was things going on the outside, you know, that didn't, you know, that were trying to distract us, but wouldn't get to us because we would block it all out. But still, if there was something going on, and it was just just bickering, you know, at the team, and like everyone had to deal with it, he would kind of say something, you know, like, hey, kind of like amp it down a little bit, you know, like
you have the one-on-one meeting.
Yeah, like hey, this is going on. Like, can you just kind of diffuse the situation? So I kind of feel like he's not diffusing the situation at all, when it could be diffused a little bit more, and it's becoming a distraction to the whole entire program at the University of North Carolina a little bit. So it kind of goes against that. But like we said, he's also loosened up tremendously, and he's kind of a, you know, change, you know, personality since being a coach in the NFL. But just overall, I think like football needs to come. Once football comes, you know, I'm excited to see how all that goes. You know, I'm kind of getting annoyed about all these other things that's talked about with Bill right now. It's like, let's see this guy coach, you know. If this guy dominates, well, then let it be.
Yeah.
And if he loses, though, right from the beginning and he's 1-3, that could be a serious problem.
If he starts out 1-3, you need to fly up to North Carolina and have a one-on-one meeting with him. Listen, we got to eliminate these distractions.
I'll have University of North Carolina hire me as like the freaking president of all sports.
Yeah,
just so I can be his boss. And
don't tell Bill, hey, the president wants to meet you. You're in there and be like, Bill, sit down.
I'm your boss. I'm sorry, brother.
Him, Gronk, Tom, and Edelman all fly
all
in
above him too. They all have to be above him.
Bring him into a meeting room.
Eliminate the distractions. Come on now.
What are we doing out here?
Yeah.
Do you want to win or not? Like that's what we got to focus on.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
1-3.
I'm going for him though. I'm pulling for him to win.
Dude, I hope North Carolina.
It'll be great for football.
Too.
It'll be great for college football.
Yeah.
It'll be like the Deion effect.
Yeah.
Like how much better? Like no one watched Colorado. It's like no one watched UNC. Like everyone tuned in.
Everyone will be tuned into UNC for sure. When Tom and Bill end up breaking up, Tom, you go with Tom to Tampa Bay. From your vantage point, what did you see happening there on the inside between their relationship? Because you were saying in the beginning of your career, Tom's sitting there as baby Bill Belichick. He's Bill Belichick's son, essentially. And then they get to the end, you hear about how they're not really getting along culturally. They think that they're going different directions. Tom, inevitably, you guys lose to the Titans in 2019, ending your dynasty. And then
I was retired.
You're right.
That's what ended the dynasty.
Do you think so? You think you would have won that game? What did you see happening between them and that breakup?
Well, yeah, like I said, I mean, I was surprised. I mean, if you go all the way back to my rookie year, it was definitely like a different mindset or positioning that Tom was in. Like like I said, he was like Bill Belichick's son my rookie year. But I would say, I mean, I really can't talk for Tom or Bill, like on how the relationship, but I would just say what kind of really happened was that Tom was probably growing older, and was like, wanting to freelance more. I would say doesn't have to be treated like a rookie, and it was still going on. And I would say he was getting over that situation, even though it was kind of like that, my rookie year.
Yeah.
And he was, guy's 35 years old now, 36, and doesn't need to be treated like
arguably the GOAT.
Yeah, probably already the greatest of all time. It doesn't need to be treated like a rookie, And I would say the tension started feuding over things like in that situation between them two. That's kind of like how I saw it in a way. And then eventually neither of them were gonna, twitch or
like bend the knee to
bend the knee. So the tension just started heating up, I would say, and eventually, the divorce happened. But for details or what they were truly thinking, you would have to ask one of them. But from an outside perspective, like player, I would say that's kind of how the case, kind of started and ended.
When those topics are getting talked about in the media, is it when we're like, oh yeah, this is going to come to the surface sooner or later?
Yeah. And then it's also like, wow, it took that long for it to come to the surface as well. Yeah. Sometimes the media is right. It's like, wow, it took them that long. But then sometimes it's like, wait, they're already way ahead of the game. How did they already know that it was that was already coming to the surface? Or they would come up with something that wasn't even up to the surface and it was never going to come up to the surface. But there's some things where it's like, whoa, it took them that long, and you're surprised. Now with media these days, when media doesn't catch on to something and it takes a while to get out, you're surprised with that.
Yeah.
What were the conversations that took place to get you out of retirement and into Tampa?
Well, everything had to, check out for me. It wasn't just one situation that was going to, get me out of retirement. First off, I had to be feeling good again. I was really beat up, those last 2 years in New England, and it was getting tough on me. Playing on a weekly basis. Like the Sunday game, I couldn't recover until like Saturday, the following Saturday, and then the practice and all that. It was just becoming miserable. I mean, everyone experiences that, and that's why everyone retires eventually. Because if you weren't experiencing that and you were experiencing the joy of like playing like when you were 23, why the fuck would you retire? You know what I mean? So when it starts getting miserable and hard, that's when you want to walk away from the game. And that's what I did. But I was really beat up too. But I was like, you're kind of evolving, throughout your whole career. I found different situations, to recover, also different workouts, that can keep me on top of my game. Also kind of needed a different scenario, different program. So when Tom went to Tampa, we just talked about it a little bit. My mom lived down there. I love Florida. Totally different organization. Felt more laid back. Definitely put the work in, but still more laid back, like a country club. They wanted me as well, Tampa. It wasn't just Tom wanted me. The organization called me up too, and they're like, yeah, we definitely want you to be a part, of the Buccaneers family. I was feeling good as well and felt like I had more left in the tank. So every box checked off. And then obviously with Tom going down there to have that chemistry and just keep it going on in a new program. So everything just, pled my way. And I pulled the trigger to do it.
It sounds like they were willing to like cater around your expectation, what you wanted physically too, like what your body needed, what you needed how old are you at this time?
I was 30 years old.
Yeah, it's like a 30-year-old tight end. Was back in New England when you decided to retire, you talk about the joy and it just you hated showing up to work. Was a lot of it too the expectation and the stress that would come with the organization of the Patriots, like the standard that had lived and they expected you to live by? When you're like, hey, I feel like my body would respond better doing this, or I feel like I should be doing this workouts. Because a lot of times you butt heads with those third-party sources that we all use outside of the facility, and then you try to implement them inside, and the whole ego battle kind of like butts heads.
Yeah, you hit it right on the money, bro. You, like you said, you played for a while, so you understand that. And every player kind of goes through that experience too. But in a way, like in New England, like coaches never gave off anyone from practice. But like at the end of my career, I was like, I can't be playing in a game on Sunday and practice full speed Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like I'm blocking guys. Think about what I'm doing. I'm running 35 routes a game as well, like a wide receiver. And I'm trying to block 300 pounders sometimes, DNs that are 260 pounds, linebackers that are running all over the place on a continuous basis every single play. So my energy and effort and output is higher than anyone else out there on the football field, if you really think about it, because of the routes I got to run and also the be in shape blocking. And I just couldn't recover anymore. Like Wednesday would come and I wouldn't even want to hit anyone in the 9-on-7. I'd be like, yo, like I'm just gonna put my hand in front of you, like I didn't even want to hit. Like that's a bad feeling. You don't want to get hit and you're playing the game of football. But like if I took off like by like Thursday or Friday, like I was able to do it again, like have that mindset, like, oh, I'm ready to hit. But like no one would get off in practice or anything. So it was getting tough, like that mentality, that aura in New England. Like I wanted a day off of practice and all that, but it was just tough. And it was tough to ask for it too, because of the expectations.
Right.
So when I got to Tampa,
I feel like you're letting the team down.
You
and you're
feel like,
letting them
exactly.
down.
But when I got to Tampa, they were kind of known like, hey, we give vets a day off. Like you got to be truly proven though. Like, and I was proven at that time. And I was like, can I at least get one day off a week? And in training camp, every 3 days I get off too. And they were down for it. They were down for it.
I bet you could have probably negotiated more coming out of retirement.
Yeah.
You'd have been like,
I didn't need more though, but also with the mindset of coming from New England, you kind of feel like you're letting the team down as well. If you're taking off too much, especially if you're not injured or rehabbing an injury. But I was cool with it, with my mindset, because I truly knew that I couldn't practice every single day and then be fully ready for a game on Sunday. And they gave me off every Friday, my 2 years in Tampa, which I'm thankful for, which, I put the work in, Wednesday, Thursday, but I truly believe that's what got me to play and got me, to be able to play at the level I play. It wasn't the highest level of football that I could possibly play at, like I was, but like to play at the highest level at that age and where I was, taking off that Friday to at least make an impact on the field.
Right. Well, it got you that incentive too.
Yeah.
Because there was that clip that came out of you going up to Tom being like, hey, I need one more.
Yes.
And so you were pulled out of that game, correct? And you're like, I need to go back in.
Yeah. Well, we were whomping them. It was like the third quarter. We were up like 35-0 or 35-7. So they pulled all the starters, but Tampa's cool. They're cool like that. They want you to make all the possible money that you can make. Our offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich, always said in the meeting, there's two things that you take away from football in the end. He goes, it's your relationships and it's the money that you make. That's the two things that stick with you forever. And he says, so going in, he goes, if we're up, obviously the most important thing is to win the game. But if we're up and you need an extra catch, we're going to get you that extra catch. We're going to get you that money.
That's awesome.
So we were winning. They pulled all the starters, but Tom was like, hey, we got to get one more catch. We drew a play right on the sideline. Hey, Rob, motion across. You're just going to run a diagonal. I'm going to hit you. And boom, motion across. I actually false started, but they didn't get called where you lean forward a little bit.
Yeah.
That's called, what's that called again? What's the penalty?
Illegal motion.
Yeah, but you
No.
where you accidentally move forward a little bit on the motion. That's a penalty. You're not allowed to move
Isn't
forward.
that just a false start then?
It is a false start, but there's a name for it. I can't think about it right now, but I did that actually, but they didn't call it because the game was just
it was done.
way out of reach. Ran that diagonal, boom, Tom hit me.
Was that 700?
It was I needed, I think, like 55 catches or something. That was my 55th catch to hit my last incentive in my contract. Yeah, so Tampa was cool like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever have incentive based stuff in your contracts in New England?
Yes.
Never. Did you ever miss one?
My last year in New England, I basically missed them all. But my second last year in New England, I hit them all.
Did you really?
Yeah. So I bet on myself again going into that last year. But halfway through, I didn't even care about them anymore. I was just like, I gotta survive, dude. I'm just trying to survive here.
Yeah. What was hurting the most on you towards the end?
Like
from your body standpoint, like, I got to survive this. Was it shoulder? Was your back acting up again?
It was inflammation in my body, bro.
Insert Adam Bobo.
Yeah, inflammation, dude. Like, it wasn't anything nagging. Well, my back was nagging a lot, but I was inflamed. But like I still have it to this day a little bit. Like, if I go ham one day, 2 days later, like, I can't move. Like, I'm inflamed. Like, I'm slow. I kind of actually have it a little bit today. I haven't worked out in like 2 weeks. I did a hardcore yoga like 48 hours ago exactly. And like, I didn't go too hard in it because I knew I was coming on. But when I get inflamed, like, I'm slower. Like, I can't run as fast. And I was like, I couldn't recover fast enough and get rid of that inflammation. Even though I started finding ways to do it, it's just at that rapid rate. And I was so far behind that slowness, just that, not that burst anymore. You don't have that quickness either anymore. And it just doesn't want to make you get hit either. Everything hurts then too. So inflammation was, my biggest killer, I would say.
God. Is there a story outside of what you've already talked about in past conversations where you were going to get traded to Detroit, you threatened to retire, they don't trade you?
Yeah.
But was there a story behind the scenes about how the organization was kind of handling your situation that isn't known or that you haven't kind of talked about? Because everybody's aware that you did the whole threaten to retire, they don't trade you, you're back in New England.
Well, that was a tough year. We lost to the Philadelphia Eagles that year, actually, in the Super Bowl after the comeback versus Falcons. So we went back-to-back Super Bowls. We were actually almost three-peated. We went to 3 Super Bowls in a row, but we just lost the middle one versus the Eagles. But that year was tough, man. I'm talking just the aura of the organization. I don't think anyone really enjoyed that season. I'm talking like any player. Like, it was just weird, but we were dominating. We were still winning, and we went to the Super Bowl. But just overall, it was tough. And what was the question again?
About when they were going to trade you to Detroit.
There we go.
And then you threatened to retire.
Now I say that's why I was bringing that up. So that whole year, so then I was being an asshole after that year. Like, they were trying to get a hold of me. I wasn't answering anything. I was saying shit in the media. I was just being a complete asshole. And then I'm with Monster Energy, and Monster Energy has Monster Jam, and in New England at Gillette Stadium. And I still haven't talked to anyone in the organization. I was kind of vocal in the media, like, this year sucked, like, kind of shit like that, like, miserable here. Like, I was one of those guys, like, and that was like the aura of when everyone was saying it sucks to play in New England. Like, there was that 1 or 2 years. That was when the Eagles players were going to the parade and like ripping on the organization. Like, I was one of the guys like saying it sucks to play there, like that year. Like, it was just a tough year just overall. So then I was being an asshole. I go to Monster Jam, and I have to have a press conference there. And it's all the football, like, for my Monster's like, hey, like, you got to do the appearance at Monster Jam. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, this ain't going to go over so well. So I show up to the press conference in the whole uniform. Like, I'm a freaking dirt bike rider with the helmet on. I go up to the press conference, and they just start asking me football questions right away. And I'm just giving fucking blatant, like, asshole answers back. And then a week later is when I get the phone call, and finally I answer, hey, we're going to trade you. And I never wanted to get traded. Actually, I knew it was going to come down to this, though, because of what I was doing. It was the counter reaction, the organization was doing back to me. Like, oh, he wants to be an asshole. Well, we're going to get rid of him. And that's when Patricia was the head coach at the Lions, too. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to grab Gronk then. I'm going to trade for him. And I got the call. I got traded, but I was prepared. I was fucking prepared. I knew the phone call was going to come. I knew I was going to get traded. I was prepared. hey, Rob, we're going to trade you to the Lions. I said, you can't trade a retired player. Yeah, right on the spot. I was like, you can't trade me. I'm retired. Like, I just retired. Like, you can't trade. My agent's like, you're a genius, Drew. He's like, I never been in this situation before. And then finally, Bill was like, well, then what the fuck's the problem? I went in. We hashed everything out. I was like, the trade never went through then. It got axed. Actually, it would have been through if I said no problem. But ended up playing one more year in New England. I was like, business isn't done. Like, I'm just being an asshole a little bit. Business not done. Let's do one more year. I'm so glad I went back. I was actually about to retire, though, too. I was really thinking about it. But I didn't feel right going to another team. Not at all. I was like, I'm not going to end it with another team. I'll do another year in New England. And we ended up winning the Super Bowl, and that was my last game in New England, winning that Super Bowl, I think, 53 in Atlanta versus Los Angeles Rams. Ended with that catch up the middle, a 28-yard bomb up the seam to the 2-yard line, and then Sony Michel ran the ball right behind me in for the only touchdown of the game. So it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, man. What made that year with Philadelphia so hard? Was the expectation coming off the prior Super Bowl?
No, I was beat up a little bit still. My body wasn't responding how I wanted it to. But just the aura.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was that the last year going in was a lot better than that Philadelphia season. I remember everyone just was pissed.
Yeah.
I remember.
What
it's
changed?
just hard to explain why. Like, you just had to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, off the field.
Let's go. I like off the field
You've
shit.
done a lot of cameos.
Yes,
dude.
I have.
Entourage, Family Guy, The Clapper. It sounds like a venereal
The
disease.
Clapper. That's
The
what Will had
Simpsons.
when he was in college. That's why they beat us so bad in the Holiday Bowl.
Yeah.
We were staying away from them.
Yeah.
Like, these guys have the clap.
But dude, you've done all of these different SpongeBob SquarePants. You gotta say that. for
SpongeBob
JP in the back.
SquarePants still gives me residual checks for like $2,000. Like every
No
other,
shit.
like every like
Dude,
4 months.
I mean, the show is
yeah,
unbelievable.
I love it. And I'm like, when did I do SpongeBob SquarePants? I remember I sang the like birthday song in one of the episodes, and I still get residual checks from it.
That is fucking
That's
awesome. Of all these cameos that you've done, what was like the thing you were most excited for? Now, do you think people call you and be like, "Hey, we want Gronk to do this cameo,"
Mm-hmm.
or were you ever like calling your agent and being like, "I heard this movie's coming out. I heard the show. I love the show. How I Met Your Mother. I want to be a part of this."
Kind of both, you know,
Yeah.
especially at first, I wanted to be a part of cameos. Like I wanted to live that lifestyle. Like I said, I wasn't saying no going to the draft. That movie with Jamie Foxx, was it Any Given Sunday?
Mhm.
Or right? I love that movie. Like, I'm like, I want to live like that. They were partying in the locker room after doing all that good shit. You know, I wanted to live like a movie. So I was just telling my people, like, I'll do any appearance in whatever movie. And then my very first one actually basically was the Entourage movie. Loved Entourage growing up as a kid. Wanted to
One
live
of the
my
best
life
shows
like
ever.
that when I was in high school. And I told my friends in high school too, I'm going to be on that show one fucking day. Watch. And then I ended up getting in the movie, which was really, really cool. And definitely, I would say that was one of my favorite appearances, because what's funny is I was right in my prime of partying. So I actually got to this set and I started taking shots with everyone, because it was like 11:30 p.m. at night and I was going out that night. So I started getting hammered on the spot, and in the scene, I'm partying in the scene. So it worked out perfect. Yeah. I was actually hammered for that scene right there.
Was that line ad-libbed when you stood up and screamed?
No, they gave it to me.
They gave it to
But
you?
I took it to another level.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
With his shoulder too and a sling. It was
Oh,
just
we acted
crazy.
like I was super handicapped. I was actually coming off the knee injury, so I was actually at a ACL surgery 3 months prior to that. But then we also put the arm brace on, like my arm was still freaking broken.
Yeah.
I had a cane as well. It just went along well.
What was it like seeing Vinny Chase and Johnny Drama and all those boys after watching that show for so long and being able to see them?
It was the best, dude.
Yeah.
I love him to this day. I see him at charity events and everything, and seeing Drama. I love Drama. His character and just Drama as well as a person, dude. Great, dude. It was the best to be a part of it. You know, the dream come true.
Yeah.
Dream
That's
come
awesome.
true, dude.
All this stuff.
There we are.
All this
There
stuff.
we
you've
are.
Wow,
done,
what pictures right
I
there.
know, right?
There's the set.
The
There's the
fedora
set.
on. That's so
It's
fucking
the young
awesome.
Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Entourage really was that show that if you watched it, you wanted to be Vinny Chase.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, how do I have the ability to live this life?
Well, Vinny Chase was like too pretty, and like I knew I couldn't be Vinny Chase. I was kind of like, I just want to have a group like that, you know,
A group of boys that
group
whipped
of boys
around.
like that.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of like Vinny Chase, but I was more of like Johnny Drama in a way. I was like them combined, you know. Like,
yeah, I got you.
mhm.
Dude, that show, you got to watch that show.
I know. I've seen.
You've
the
never
movie.
seen
I've
Entourage,
seen the
the
movie.
show?
I haven't seen.
You've
the show.
never seen the show?
No, bro.
Oh
It's
man,
crazy.
you're
You
crazy.
see the movie too. There's so many callbacks.
And the
to
show blows away the movie though.
Yeah,
Like
the show
absolutely
is-
blows
I know.
away.
I know. I
Ari,
know.
Is he not? Is he maybe the best character of all time? Written character.
Best character, dude.
God.
By far.
Ari
Drama,
is-
competes with it, but Ari is just phenomenal.
Dude, I don't think anybody touches Ari in
Mhm.
this show. He is so outstanding.
Mm.
Drama Taylor.
He's all right. I knew. I saw you looking at me too. I got the Frenchie. He's pissed off because I step out of the batter's box in baseball. We can't.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of drama.
You're not.
Wasn't a huge
Ah.
fan. No.
This is ridiculous. Well, that's why I like you a lot more, man. That's why I'm on the show for you, Will. Mhm.
Fuck yeah, dude.
All the stuff that you've done off the field, it's rumored that you never spent a dollar of your NFL earnings. Is that true?
Technically, it's not true. Well, it actually started working because Drew gave me a $50,000.
Technically, it's not true. Or technically, it is true. That you didn't
Technically,
spend?
it is true.
Okay.
Yes. What did I say? It's not true.
Yeah, you said technically.
Oh
it's-
well, technically I was wrong there, but technically it's true. I meant it's true. Drew Rosenhaus actually gave me a $50,000 upfront marketing budget at the beginning, and you got to pay him back over the time, the first 50 grand you made. So I actually took that 50 grand. I bought me a car. I paid for my spot up in New England actually with it, and then as I was getting a couple deals, I paid them off. But just overall, I'm very frugal, and lived, with a roommate my first couple of years. I didn't know how long the NFL was going to last. I was a second round pick, so it was like a 4-year, $4 million deal. And I was like, if I play this contract out, I'll be set for life. I got $2 million in my bank. I can make $200,000 of interest. I was like, if I only play 3-4 years, I'm good. And I wanted that situation for me too, that I could be good as well. Like if I don't ball, if I'm not the player, that I think I could be, whatever, I'm still set for life, because $2 million in the bank is set for life to me, at that time. So I just always wanted to save it. And then I just used my money that I was getting off the field to just spend it on whatever I needed to spend it on. And then therefore it just kept continuing. And to this day, technically, I have not spent any of my NFL money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it crazy how when you're young, you have the mindset like, if I'll have $2 million, I'll be set for life. And I know obviously $2 million is a lot of money, but as time goes and you get older and your lifestyle that you do have, you're like, oh fuck, 2 million. 2 million wouldn't get me very far if I continue to live the way you think you can live. When you
Right.
first sign a deal for 4 years, $4 million.
Yeah, it's scary how there's always a new level to it. Like you think, if I can get to this point, that's all I need, blah, blah, blah. But then you get to that point and you're like, what is this? What's going on here?
Yeah.
There's a private aviation. You can get on a plane and just kind of go where you want. That's pretty crazy.
Mhm.
It's always changing. It's always, yeah.
I told you he's going to be quiet the
He's
whole entire
listening,
time.
motherfucker.
Then
He's
he's
gonna
going
let you know.
to let us
Yeah.
know when it's his turn, and now he's letting us know it's his turn.
All right.
But buddy, we still got a little bit longer. You gotta relax, okay?
Just a little bit longer.
We'll give you. We'll
Give us
you
10,
your time.
buddy.
Give us a little bit longer, buddy. I told you though. I call him. I know this guy way too well.
Yeah.
See?
It's a good dog.
Come up here.
It's a
then.
good dog.
What
Come
you
up
think
here.
about old Vrabes in New England?
I think that's. I mean, I was waiting for this subject to come up actually, because you guys know Vrabes. You guys both played for him, but I think that's the perfect fit, for New England overall, just for the organization, for the fan base, for the Kraft family. I just love his mantra. I love what he stands for. I never really met Vrabel before, just for a quick second. I've heard plenty of stories of him because he was that first era of being a Patriot and winning all the Super Bowls. But just to see the way he progressed as a coach too, that's why he's such a good fit too for New England, because he's established. He put his time in as a player, put his time in as a coach, going to Ohio State, working his way up, going to Houston as DC or whatever.
he's a DC.
Then getting the head. So he took a step every single way to get to where he is. And I think he just has the personality just from just seeing it and just hearing from other players, that I think he's the truest perfect fit possible for the second era, after Bill Belichick. And what they're doing so far in New England, I mean, you can't really argue with any of the moves that they have made so far.
Mhm.
I think they have made every move, correctly, with the draft, with who they took, all the way from free agency. They had all that money. They went and got the guys they needed to get for the positions they needed to get. You never know though, like when you make a team out of free agency. You never know how it's going to be.
Yeah, it's
But
got
with
to gel.
a guy like Vrabel, I feel like he can gel him because he's a guy that can gel people. He played offense before, special teams, defense. Like those guys know how to gel.
He'll tell you.
He'll tell you.
Yeah.
He'll tell you he's done it all too. I mean, 14 years in the NFL, and he's been a guy on every part of the entire roster.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at like the Titans in 2021, I think they set a record for the most players played because of all the injuries, and we were the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. Obviously, we lost the first round we played, but that shows a guy that can gel his team. And I think it just depends on Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
If Drake May can show up in a big way and take a step from year 1 to year 2, like the Patriots could be good, actually good with all the free agency acquisitions.
I'm going on record to say that they're making the playoffs this year as well. I don't think that they have a chance at the division, but the Bills
Sure,
are
and
just
pull up
too
the
established.
AFC.
But it's AFC. Dolphins are going to dolphin. They're going to look beautiful real quick out of the water, and then they're going to sink back down. The Jets, I mean,
We know.
they're just too far away still. I mean, and then the Bills, they're going to, Bills are good. They're established. They're going to obviously be the dominant, but I think the Patriots, they can sneak into the playoffs this year. I can see that. I don't think they're going to, compete for a Super Bowl, but I think in the end, in the 2-3 years, possibly, yes. But this year, they're going to be making a big impact.
I mean, if you go from the 4th overall pick this year to the playoffs the next year, that's a huge jump.
Yeah,
A
we should
massive
get
jump.
speaking of, since we're all Team FanDuel, we should get a little futures parlay going. I want to say the Commanders over-under is 9.5, Titans are 5.5, and Patriots are 7.5 wins. Get a little, combine them all, futures bet.
I'll
on the
hit the
FanDuel
overs?
app.
Yeah.
Hit the overs on them all.
Well, what is
but
Commanders?
why are we hitting the overs with the Titans? Why can't we each do the over and then the Titans we do the under?
You think the Titans will struggle and not win over?
You
You think Titans are not going to get 6 games?
I don't think so. No. How many did they get last year?
3.
I think
4?
they got
3.
4. I think they got 4 or 5 in them this year.
No, it wasn't 5. I know.
What's
this year.
the improvement? Yeah, they got the quarterback number 1 overall pick, but I'm just saying overall, what else did they get?
This is a good.
They
what else did I
paid
get?
a left tackle $80 million, and they're going to move their left tackle from last year, who played all 17 games. He was the top 10 pick over to the right side. They got Zeitler at right guard now. They got Cushenberry at center, and then you have a guy going into his 3rd year that was a 11th overall pick. It's Peter Skoronski at left guard. So we have a good offensive line.
All right.
All right. You got Calvin Ridley, and you got 2 great backs in Spears and Pollard. And it really depends on Cam Ward. If Cam Ward can be who we've kind of seen him be, then they are going to easily win over 5.5
So
games.
it's all on Cam Ward.
It is
as a rookie
just like
quarterback.
the Patriots. It's all on Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got 7.5.
Right,
We got 5.5.
With that breakdown, I feel more comfortable taking the over.
I will say, let me
I was
play
going to say this is a good
devil's
team
advocate.
meeting.
Yeah.
Good FanDuel
Yeah.
team meeting. Maybe we go both options.
Let's
an over
sell-
one and an under one.
Well,
I'm
what's
down
the
with that.
Patriots over under?
7.5.
Oh, yeah, we got to go over. If I say they're making the playoffs,
Yeah, if you're
then
saying
that's
they
going to
could
be
be,
over.
yeah.
And that's a weak division as well,
Yeah,
Outside
you
of
have
Bills.
one
Outside of
monster.
Bills.
You have
Yeah.
a monster.
Yeah, with the Bills. But
Pull up the
all right,
Patriots
I'm
schedule.
going over.
Pull up
Big
the
time.
Patriots
I'm
schedule.
going big. I'm going over big time.
We're all just going to be so biased about it.
And then what's the Commanders? 9.5.
9.5, which is a big one, but
Yeah,
it's
that
like
is big.
Jane Daniels in his 2nd year.
I
Like the
mean,
way that
and they only
organization's
upgraded
trending.
their team as well. They
Yeah.
went out and got some more talent. You got Cliff Kingsbury as an offensive coordinator. He's established. He knows how to handle players, and he knows how to break down players' talent as well and use it. So I like the over. We got to do a parlay where it's just all over there.
Yeah.
But
Let's
hold on.
go big too.
Go
Let's
up
go
to
big.
go up to September 14th. That's the first game, or September 7th. September 7th. The Raiders dub.
Mm-hmm.
But Pete Carroll, you got the new running back in there. Geno Smith is there. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play good football. Toss up. You said the Dolphins come out of the water early in the season and look really, really pretty.
That one's in
No.
Miami.
And that one's in Miami.
And it's in Miami. But did you see how Portnoy break down the Patriots schedule?
Yeah, I
for
thought he
their
did a great
schedule?
job.
I mean, they're going 17-0. So
Yeah.
he did do a great job.
He did a good job. He did a
absolutely
good job of
destroyed it.
that.
I looked, I was like 5.5 minutes, like the first 30 seconds, the first breakdown of the first game. I was like, all right. I was like, maybe I can watch 5.5 minutes, but he was so good and entertaining in the first, breakdown of the Las Vegas game. I was like, all right, I got to watch every single one. I watched the whole entire video and I literally walked away like that was good.
You walked away
You walked
from
away.
they're
I know.
17-0.
They might be 17-0.
Yeah,
They might be.
There's a reason why Dave is where Dave's at.
Yeah.
He can talk.
But
Steelers
We're
win.
not breaking down the whole schedule now,
I mean,
are we?
I'm just looking at 7 games we got to find.
They're going
here.
above 7. I mean, we got the Steelers number. The Patriots always take down the Steelers no matter what.
You guys have a
Panthers,
We just
favorable
do.
schedule. You got the Panthers,
It's
the
very
Titans,
favorable.
Saints, Browns, Falcons,
Yeah, we feel good about 7.5 there.
Jets.
We feel good about
Yeah,
7.
Giants.
we're going over 7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Titans, I know I talked to big about their offense, but they are going to have holes on defense. Like I don't think they're going to have their cornerback, their secondary is going to be in a tough position.
See, and that's going to be tough on a rookie quarterback then too, because if rookie quarterback needs help from the defense in order to get truly established and understand everything going on, and
you're
get
not playing
momentum.
from behind all the time.
Exactly, and when you're playing from behind as a rookie, it's tough to get over that hump. Then you know, it's tough to win games. I mean, you got to be truly established as a quarterback in order to understand, like, all right, this is what we got to do from behind. This is what we got to do with a shitty defense.
Right.
That's hard to understand your rookie year.
Yeah.
You know, in the NFL at that position. But I'm down. I'm down to do.
Let's hit 'em all
I'm down
over.
to parlay. I got my phone right here. I'm gonna put the parlay in right now.
At least build it so we
Yeah.
know what the odds are.
I won that bet. I won that bet last night. Florida Panthers taking down, you know, the Toronto Maple Leafs in Game 7. Do you need another moment of silence for that?
No, I appreciate you. Thank you for thinking about my feelings, but we don't need to. We're going to go to Tier Talk while you're putting that in. And Tier Talk is sponsored by Row. Row Sparks are a 2-in prescription treatment for guys who need a secret weapon against softness. Row Sparks can give you guys bigger, thicker, longer erections because they get fuller. After Row Sparks dissolve, they work in 15 minutes on average. If prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off their first order on Sparks on a recurring plan. Connect with a provider at row.co/bussin to find out if a prescription Row Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/bussin for $15 off your first order. Go ahead.
So you're saying it will give me an erection?
No, we're saying it'll give you a thicker, longer, bigger erection.
Well, then it's for me.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Let's fucking go.
All right, here we go. I got the odds for the Tennessee Titans regular season wins, but they give plenty of odds. You can do over 3.5 wins or over 5.5 wins or over 7.5 wins. So you're saying the standard odds though are over 5.5 wins.
What does it say straight up?
I don't know. It's minus 130 for 5.5 wins.
Yeah, then that's the one that they'll be running.
All right,
mostly.
so that's the one we want right there. So how do I parlay that? Do I
Just go to another bet.
all right, I'll
Yeah,
go
go
to
to
the
another team.
New England Patriots. All right, there, Washington Commanders. Click that. So what we want over 9.5 wins. That's minus 110. That's the one we want then. All right. All right, there we go. That parlay, same game parlay. And then we're going with the New England Patriots. Where are you guys? Right there. Over under 7.5, minus 150. That's it. Just clicked it. All right. Oh, we get now it's a plus 473 overall.
Plus 473 for that.
So how
futures
much should I
parlay.
put
God, I
in?
love that.
So this is a future bet. I'm gonna do.
Time out. Don't do it yet. We might get
Why not?
we could get a little juice from FanDuel.
Yeah.
Like we tell them we get done with the bus, we hit up FanDuel. Hey, we want to put this
Gronk and the
futures
boys parlay.
Yeah, Gronk and the boys parlay.
Yeah,
I love
but
that.
I'm gonna put a
Okay.
put a little
All right.
something on it now, and then I'm gonna go big when they give us that little juice.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do 300.
There we go.
300 right
Love
there.
that.
300. I'm gonna win 1,400.
Okay. There
That's
we
a
go.
bet right there.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. We're all
Yeah.
feeling good
Yeah,
about our
I'm feeling
teams.
great about that.
I'm thinking about this tier talk right now. Our tier talk today is going to be best movie couples. That's what I'm hearing,
Yeah, best movie couples.
which is tough.
I've thought about it. It's very hard.
I
very
love
hard.
like the outside football talk. I thrive. Football's great to talk about, but I can't talk too much football.
Right,
you know?
can't talk
you wanna
too
have
much.
a
I
little
really
fun.
can't.
You wanna, if the
I really
boys are
can't.
hanging out, you're going to talk about more than just football.
I love talking more than football. I love off the field type
Yeah.
freaking conversations.
My
So what's this one?
I'll kick it off with tier talk.
All right.
You'll start.
Explain
See,
tier
tier talk is
Tier
where
talk,
what I
tier-
live for.
Tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. You're ranking them 3 all the way up.
Do we
to
got
number
honorable
1.
mention as well?
You can throw in an honorable
All right.
mention.
All right.
And for an honorable mention, my first honorable mention is going to be Noah and Allie from The Notebook. It's a movie
All
that will
right.
stand the test of time. Great love story. I do enjoy love. And sticking on the theme
I
of
do
love,
enjoy love.
I do enjoy love. I love a good tearjerker.
Love is the greatest drug out there.
Amen. Amen. My tier 3 is going to be Jerry and Holly from P.S. I Love You. Great tearjerker movie right there. Great tearjerker movie where Jerry knows he's going to die and he writes these little P.S. I Love You notes all throughout her life. She finds them. It is a very great love story. My tier 2 is going to be Rocky and Adrian. One of the best proposals of all time, where he says, "Hey, what are you doing for the next 40 or 50 years?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't know why." And he's like, "You wouldn't mind marrying me too much or anything, right?" And she's like, "Huh?" He's like, "You wouldn't mind marrying me too much." She says, "Yes." Rocky Adrian, great love story. That is my tier 2. My tier 1 is none other than Shrek and Fiona.
Oh, that's a good one.
Great one.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's a good one. I
Turns
finally
into
watched
the
that.
ogre.
Yeah.
It gets into the end. She loves Shrek. She doesn't want to be
Wow.
with the prince. She doesn't care to be the queen. And that is all-time love story. That is my tier 1.
I watched that with Camille last year for the first time, and I'm in love. I'm in love with Shrek.
Yeah, Shrek is a great series.
Great movie.
Have you
dude.
watched all of them since
I'm
you
kind
watched
of
it
like
last year?
Shrek, like in some comparisons.
Yeah?
I can't believe you didn't say that.
Like big? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
no homo. I think you're no paws really too. I think you're a good-looking cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
You don't
Handsome
look
boy.
like a big
Shrek is
ogre.
too.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm
a
an
big
ogre
ogre.
in a way.
You got some ogre tendencies.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Shrunk. Shrunk. Kind of looks like me a little bit.
Yeah.
So now we give one word to describe how we feel about Will's tier talk. I'll go first. Hyphenated, saved it.
What was your one word?
Saved it.
That's 2.
Hyphenated.
Oh, that's 1. Spectacular.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, boys.
Boys, yeah.
Shrunk.
Mm.
Lovely.
Buzzer beater.
Emotional. Money.
Strong.
Touching.
Wow.
Thank you, boys. Thank you.
Wow. I was getting turned on from all those descriptions.
It's because you got.
I
It's
felt
because you
the-
got that.
Yeah, I
You
felt
got that
it.
rose spark in your
I
system.
really did feel it back there. The emotions. The boys' emotions.
Taylor, would you like to go second, or should we go? Do we want to throw it to Gronk?
Go throw the Gronk.
All right. So just best movie couples.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, my honorable mention. I'm gonna go with my girlfriend and Channing Tatum in the movie. Oh shit! What was that movie that she was in? It was Free Guy. In Free Guy, it was the opening scene.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really
All
really
right.
touching.
Big honorable
So
mention.
it's honorable mention because they weren't really dating, but like they kind of were. It was like going on a date, like the opening scene.
Was
Like,
it kind of tough seeing your girl with
yeah, it
Channing
was.
Tatum?
It was. But I got to give it honorable mention.
Like he's
Yeah.
a rocket.
Yeah, I know he is.
And he's got moves, bro. You talk about dancing.
I know. I wonder what happened behind the scenes. Yeah. So that's honorable mention. You got to see it. Free Guy. It's a great movie.
Phenomenal
She's
movie.
she's
It
the
is a
hot
good
chick
movie.
in the beginning in the car with Channing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there they are, right there.
And
he's-
that's a good
He's
Channing.
badass.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
one. It was a badass scene. So I got to give her some credit there. She did very well throughout that whole movie. And then I'll go with number 3. I'll go with Justin Baldini and Blake Lively, and It Ends With Us. Yeah, I still haven't seen the movie, but it's talked about so much that I gotta, put them in that ball game
Hell yeah.
of being top 3. I
Yeah.
mean, when you're talked about that much, it's got to be a power couple, throughout the movie. It Ends With
Yeah.
Us. So that's number 3. Number 2, tier 2, I'll go with Shia LaBeouf. Is that how you say his first name? Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox in the Transformers 1.
Nice,
Transformers
nice.
1.
Great one.
Yeah, that was excellent, dude. Who doesn't love, Transformers 1? And they were like an ultra power couple in that movie. And number 1, it was a real life relationship at the time too. And also they made one of the best movies of all time. I'm a big action guy. Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angela Jolie and Brad Pitt. Yes, it hit all aspects of that category because they were a real life relationship. It was a relationship in the movie, and it was also an action movie, and I love action movies. So that's number 1 by far for me. Mm-hmm.
My word, fireworks.
Is that 2 words? Is that fireworks combined, or with the little dash, like fire dash works?
Fireworks is one word.
It is 1 word.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
good. It's
retired.
way
It depends
test
how
it.
you're using it.
Way to
the
test
way
it.
you're using it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just testing them, making sure.
My one word, amazing. Boys?
Shrunk.
Shrunk again.
Perfect. Incredible.
Strong. Hyphenated Gronk spike.
Okay, that's 1 word.
Solid.
Elite.
Oh,
Buddy, that was
Good
elite.
words.
That was
Great
really
tier talk
tough.
by
guys.
Rod Gronkowski.
Thank
And
you.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith is one that's not on my list. And if I could redo it, I probably would because it's so great.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to take it. My tier 3 is going to go to Tess and Finn from Fool's Gold. That's played by Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey. Now, in the beginning of the movie, they're getting divorced. The whole movie, they're getting divorced. Towards the end, you'll have to watch it. Spoiler alert, they get back together. It's a beautiful one, and Matthew McConaughey looks phenomenal in that movie. Not to mention Kate Hudson also.
I
is
actually
great.
just read his book, Greenlight. I just finished it
Was
the
it
other
solid?
month. Oh, very solid.
Yeah,
so,
he's got a lot of
any chance, if you like to read books, read Matthew McConaughey's book. Greenlight.
Shout out Matthew McConaughey. My tier 2 is going to go to Vanessa and Deadpool in the first movie. The passion that those two have with each other, trying to outdo each other and how bad their childhoods are. They get engaged with a ring pop? And then all of a sudden the big C word comes, and obviously we know how the whole entire movie goes. My tier 1 is going to go to Jeremy Gray and John Beckwith from Wedding Crashers. You probably say, Taylor, that's two guys. They weren't married. Life and business is like a marriage with your best friends. Those two working together tirelessly during wedding season to grab and stab all these other beautiful women is something that takes a lifelong friendship to achieve, which is a marriage. And that is why they are my tier 1.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll go first. I'll say creative because of your tier 1.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Wham.
Greatest hits.
Mazel tov.
Ring pop.
Silver medal.
Those are both 2 words,
Unique.
right?
Hyphenated.
hyphen.
Gotta say hyphenated.
Yeah, you got to.
Hyphenated third place.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom. How many?
3 booms.
Okay.
Boom, boom,
Okay.
boom.
Boom, boom, boom. Great tier talk.
Great tier talk. Thank
And you
Rose
understood.
Sparks.
You understood the assignment
yeah,
with tier
you got
talk.
the-
Like I said, man, outside of football, I love conversation. Like football can, go for so long.
Right.
Yeah.
We're up this episode to bring you True Classic. Now, listen, you're going to find True Classic at Costco, Nashville, June 13th. That's where you're going to find it. Also, Sam's Club, Target, or online at trueclassic.com/Bussin. They've done so well. They're doing a kids and women's line launch later this year. Now, you might see me wearing the all black, my usual cartoon uniform right now. Grabs the shoulders, holds the chest in real nice. Can we get a wide, Mitch? I want to show them a little how flexible this is. So I got the left leg up here. I'm going to bring that down. Now I'm just going to bring that all the way there. Right there. The only thing holding me back is my own flexibility. That's the only thing holding me back. You see that cheek back there, Will?
That's very good mobility.
Thank you.
Very good range by True Classic.
Great job, True Classic. They look good, so you can play good. Let's get back to this episode.
Here's a question in the football world.
All right.
However, I think it involves you being a student of the game and giving game to the fellow young ones out there. During the COVID year when a lot of things were virtual, there's a story about you potentially wearing different t-shirts while you're doing a sprint workout
Yes.
to send it in.
Mm-hmm.
Give some game to the young cats out there on how you game the system.
You got to work smarter, not harder, boys. That's what it's all about, and that's what keeps you around a lot longer too.
Yeah.
Is you can work as hard as you want, but if you're doing something that's making you insane and you just keep working harder, you're going to get more insane.
Yeah.
But you got to work smarter. So you're supposed to, during COVID, you were doing all the workouts at home, and you had to send it into an app that you were to prove that you were doing the workouts. So you actually had to film yourself like benching and film yourself, running the routes or running the sprints, but you didn't have to do the whole entire bench. Like it was like your last set, or you would have to, show like 2 of the runs that you were doing. So instead of filming myself running every time, I just so that day you have 12 runs. So you got to show 2 of them. So instead of filming myself every single time to submit the runs, I brought out 6 different t-shirts, and every 2 runs I would switch my t-shirt up and then film the whole entire run that day. And then I would submit those 2 runs with a different t-shirt on every single time that those moments came up that I had to submit it. And so I tricked them. So I tricked them. So technically, maybe I didn't run that day then because I was like, I'll just use the video from the other day.
Yeah.
I'll hit the bench. I'll hit
So I
the
tricked them.
curls.
I tricked them.
When did you tell on yourself, or did somebody ever find out?
I told on myself.
Fair.
Yeah, told the story to the reporters actually that year.
That is
Yeah,
so
and then
funny.
Like, once the hay was
strength
in the
coach
barn,
was like,
yeah.
like, oh, Rob, what the fuck? I got everyone hitting me up. You're an asshole. But he loved it though. He thought it was great.
That is a funny piece of game. Last question, the Bud Light question. Everybody knows they would do anything for a Bud Light.
Mhm.
What is one thing that Rob Gronkowski would do anything for? Can't say family.
Oh. Well, my dog's technically family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
out,
Girlfriend's
Ralphie.
technically family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would I do anything for? Dang, that's a really good question. I would do anything to be happy at all times, 24/7.
That would be something special. What about
You can't go against that, right?
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, to be happy at all times.
what
How
about
cool would that
playing?
be?
What about playing your junior year of college?
Okay. All right. Physically, that's mentally. So now physically, I would go back. I would love to play my junior year in college. And also, I transferred my senior year in high school. If I could somehow play that year that I played in Pittsburgh, but also play the year at my old high school as well.
Shit.
Yeah. So if I could like do double senior seasons in high school and play the year, my junior year in college
I
at
love it.
Arizona, because you like when you leave, like you miss your like I left my boys like in high school. I went to a different school. I was getting in trouble and stuff. There's a lot more to it, but then I went to Pittsburgh my senior year. But like, I'm still friends with all those guys like to this day, and like you're leaving them.
Mhm.
I mean, it's for the better in the end. Like it worked out for sure, but like still, like you wish you could, you watch all the high school movies and everything like Friday Night Lights, and like you wish you could finish strong with the people you started with,
Right.
but it just didn't work that way. And same with my third year at the University of Arizona. So I would do anything, you're right, mentally to be happy at all times, because being happy is great, like and energized and then physically go back and play those years.
I love it.
What's something you weren't necessarily prepared for, kind of came as a surprise, like during retirement? Like you're a guy, Hall of Fame career, one of the best to ever do it. And you obviously tasted retirement that 1 year, and then you came back to Tampa Bay. But now you're like officially retired.
Mm-hmm.
What's something you feel like you didn't necessarily see coming with retirement?
Being on a routine, when you're playing ball and you're an athlete your whole life, you always have a routine. You got to be at practice. You got to, be in the film room. Like it's there. Like it's handed to you like a schedule every single day. That routine, what to do and get prepared for. And then once you retire, that routine is totally thrown out the window. It's kind of up to you now to schedule, when you're going to work out, when you're going to do this, when you're going to study, all that good stuff. So just getting on a routine, and when you totally get off of it as well, it fucks with you, like you're kind of like mentally weak. Sometimes you're flying all over the place. You're not doing the right things. You're not getting your workouts in, and all that good stuff. And you're just so used to doing all that, on a continuous basis. Even if you don't feel like it, you have to do it when you're an athlete because everyone else is doing it. You don't have that push around you. So that's the tough spot, is getting that push, to get to the next level, and also that routine of always, being on the grind and getting things done.
Yeah, because when it snowballs, you're just laying there and you just get so mad at yourself for falling out of a routine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then you start talking to yourself like in ways like you said, like, oh, I'm mentally weak, like I'm fucking falling
Right.
off.
Look what's happened to you. Look at an old photo of yourself. Like, that guy worked hard.
But
Not this
you
guy.
guys got it down though. Like, look at you guys that keep each other accountable. I bet doing the show, you got to get a routine on, get prepared for it. Study up. Same thing with myself and Julian. We got our podcast, Dudes on Dudes. So you got to prepare for that. Get mentally ready, kind of physically ready too, because you want to be physically feeling good at all times. It keeps your mental game sharp. So you just got to find the guys out there that want to get on the same page with you and want to do that as well.
What is it like diving into the podcast world with Jules? The
Yeah,
Dudes on Dudes
it's
pod?
great. And what's great about it, Julian already had his podcast, Games with Names. So Julian was experienced. The podcast, I never thought it was like really for me. I always like going on people's podcasts. But I was like, I said no for like ever. I was like, I don't want to start my own podcast. But then once I went on Julian's and we had the chemistry, and then I saw that Julian can carry the load of the podcast too. the load. We were just talking about that on Sunday conversation. He's like, "Oh, Julian takes the whole load of the podcast." I was like, "Yeah." So that just brought kind of triggered in my mind. But I was like, "All right, so he's gonna be there to help me along and everything." And it's just great to have a teammate. So I was like, this is perfect. And his team around him was already experienced. Everything's set up, ready to go right when you walk in. So I was like, I can do it now. And it was just a right fit. It's kind of like going to Tampa. Had to be the right fit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you travel out there to do it each time you guys do the pod?
Well, I'm in LA all the time for the pregame for the Fox show. So we usually just knock out an episode or two on like that Monday or Friday or something. And now that it's off season, we get together. Like we were just in Boston last week. We knocked out 2 episodes. But if we're not, we just do it over Zoom.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so half of them right now in the off season are over Zoom. The other half are when we can get in person whenever we can.
That's awesome, man.
We got to get all the boys together.
Yeah, if we can get the 4 of us in one room, that'd be awesome.
The
It
boys,
really would
the
be, man.
dudes.
It would be good stuff.
Gosh.
You guys are like football with a little, all football with a little everything else as well.
Yeah, I'd say like we're like probably 70% football.
70%.
In the off season too, like we have like comedians, musicians, like all coaches, players, all these different things.
Yeah, that's what we were. We were basically all football in the first couple though. And I was like, bro, I'm not all football. Like I can't. So now we're switching up with like fan questions that are like, or that like tier talk that we just did with the movie couples. Like we come up with segments like that now too. And I'm like, this is way better. Like football is great for half of it, but the other half, I wanted to just freelance what's going on, what you're doing at the moment, like what you learned, like new technique, new trick in life or whatever, with new hack, just whatever, just go off. So not just all about football. Now we're kind of blossoming more. Like because of it, hot topics, whatever he's talked about right there. So football is great. I mean, but like to do it 24/7. I like a broad of of everything.
I'm with you on that. Absolutely with you. Before we let Mr. Gronkowski go, does anybody have a question back there they'd like to ask? Anybody? Feel free.
I thought that guy in the middle would ask me where I get my IVs from, even though we already brought it up. Where you guys get your IVs from too?
Yeah, you talking about Arete Nashville?
Arete Nashville. So he does do a good job.
Right.
I don't want to give him the credit, but he's good at sticking you.
He's seeking the credit.
He's good at seeking it, and he does rehydrate you well. So these unbelievable nurses there that work really hard.
Yes.
And they actually deserve all the credit. All the women nurses that he has hired. So
Absolutely.
Arete and Nashville, they do get you hydrated and filled you up with the best vitamins in the game.
Those nurses pretty solid stuff.
Yeah, the nurses, you run that company. They
run it.
Run it. They really do.
Without the nurses, that's
Bubba, they didn't see all the work in the beginning, bro.
I didn't see where it started.
Yeah. And Bubba, we do appreciate before the show you were talking about giving us all free IVs for like next 2 months. So I appreciate you saying that.
I agree.
Let's give a round of applause for Bobo giving us all free IVs
Thank you, Bobo.
for the next couple months, man. That is awesome. Thank you, sir.
And if you're listening and you hear this, just walk in and say, "Hey, I heard you're giving out free IVs for 2 months."
Code
Bussin' with the
Bussin', just
boys
code
on the
Bussin'.
Gronk.
Code Bussin'.
Yes. On the Gronk episode. Bussin' with Gronk is free IVs.
So that is big time, Bubba. That's
you have to
That's
give
big
out
for the
free
community.
IVs. You have to give it out.
Got to,
We're
man.
not saying NAD, a vitamin bag. The athlete bag you have to give out if someone comes in. And
But
says,
Gronk, you remember he
Bussin'
was
with
saying
Gronk.
you were saying that he was giving all of us NAD for free.
Yeah, we're getting NAD for free.
Yeah.
But they can
absolutely.
get if you hear this, you can get a vitamin bag for free.
For free.
We don't want them to go bankrupt now.
No. Just a VIP bag.
Yeah.
Get in there. Small bag too.
Yeah.
Put it on Rob's account.
Small bag, big bag. There's no
Yeah,
really
it's just
price
fluid.
difference.
It's just fluid.
Fluid's 5 cents.
Yeah.
Even though you get charged $100.
Gotta make a profit. Gotta make a profit.
The margins are healthy out there.
Yeah. It's like ice cream.
Yeah.
Ice cream margins.
Ice cream margins. Jack, did you have a question?
Hey, I got when do ice cream companies make their most amount of money? Like,
When do they?
Yeah, like what month?
July.
No.
June.
See, that's what you think. It's actually May. It's like right when the weather blossoms because everyone wants to hurry up and get there. I heard they make all their money for the whole year. Yes, June, July, and August are great, but when it's truly packed, it's the first month that the sun comes out. I learned that. That's what I've been told.
No shit.
That's crazy.
Because everyone goes crazy. It's like when the weather's nice outside. How bazonkers is it outside?
It's
Everyone, wild the
People
first week,
walking
right?
around. Yeah.
But later in the summertime, you go out on Saturday. It's like, people are like, we've seen the sun every single day now.
Yeah.
for the rest of the month.
Right.
Everyone goes ape shit when it's the first, week of nice weather. Same with the ice cream world.
When it comes to ice cream, I don't discriminate on weather. I'll take down an ice cream in the middle of January. I love that stuff. Love it. Go ahead, Jackie.
Was the Steve Harvey Lego head spike scripted?
Damn, that's a good question. And everyone wants to know that, actually. It's still talked about to this day. That was a legendary moment by far. We were hosting New Year's Eve on Fox, and I spiked a Steve Harvey Lego set of his head, of his face. But what was scripted was that I was going to spike it. Like, I knew I was spiking it. They had me in the script, hey, Gronk, you're going to spike the Steve Harvey Legos. Not Steve Harvey, Steve. Fuck, my names are all over the place. Steve.
No,
Steve
you're right.
Harvey?
Steve Harvey.
Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
getting him confused with another Steve I know. But the Steve Harvey Lego set, hey, you're going to spike it. So when I spiked it, that was kind of,
Understood.
Understood. That was kind of
Did he know it?
scripted.
Did Steve know it?
But his reaction was not scripted at all. And I'm not sure either if he knew I was going to spike it or not. I knew I was going to from the beginning. I'm not sure if he knew. But his reaction was priceless, man. Like, it felt like he was truly pissed, if he truly was. But
How was the dynamic after?
it
that
was
moment?
fine.
Like, were you
It was
around
fine.
him and he was kind of like, yo,
he didn't bring it up
actually-
after. Like, he was like, nice spike. But like, he wasn't like off the screen, like, why the fuck did you do that?
Yeah.
No. Like, he acted like that, like when it happened. I mean, he kind of got me scared. I was like, oh shit, like, was I really supposed to do that or not? Like he's pissed.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was TV.
Yeah.
It was one of
Great
my best
TV.
moments. One of my best moments on TV of
Yeah.
all time.
I love it. Boys, we feel good.
Any other questions back there? I know, but I don't like telling anyone that's scripted because everyone truly believes it was like right on the spot. Like, I decided to do that.
Steve sells it.
Yeah.
He sells it big time.
Yeah. He sold it that good. So yeah, it was scripted, but it was unscripted scripted. There we go.
Unscripted, scripted. Let's give Rob a round of applause, boys. Thank you for coming on the bus, dude.
Thank you guys for having
Yes,
me, man.
bro.
Bussin' with the boys. That's
Man.
what's up, man. Thank you. We
We'll
finally
be doing
made
more
it
with FanDuel.
happen. Yes.
Oh yeah.
FanDuel's the best, man.
Yeah.
This fall is going to be awesome.
Mhm.
I can't wait for it.
Can we get a photo of you guys?
Yeah. Big hugs, tiny kisses.
Subscribe.